Fox Soccer Channel, the Big Ten Network, Speed, Fuel TV, FSN, and Fox Sports, the greatest collection of sports networks in the world.
We are Fox Sports!
This is Talladega, where anything can happen.
That's what this place is all about.
This track is scary. 188 laps of holding your breath. Avoid the big one. This place is dangerous. I don't care what you say. It's the fear of the place to a certain degree.
You know this race is going to be full of tension. It's going to be right up on the edge of your seat.
It is on. You got no friend. You're out there to win this race, and you have to do it on your own.
Survival at high speed.
The question is not if it will happen. It's when it will happen. Here we go.
Oh, trouble hard in the wall. It's the big one. Upside down.
Here we go again, boys.
Trouble, turn one. Edwards and Keselowski.
Goes again. Size. Edwards goes. No. Turns him. No.
Dega, I'm back.
Well, you've seen the wreckage and you've heard the warnings. We welcome you to Talladega, Alabama, located between Birmingham and Atlanta. Fox Sports presents Sprint Cup racing from one of the famed tracks, Talladega, and you can expect a lot of cars to be torn up and egos to be battered. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has had success here. The fans, over 100,000 expect. Look, he's clean-shaven. Aerodynamics, very important. There's Denny Hamlin, limping to his car, but he's already won 2 races this year. We'll hear from him. The pole sitter, Jimmie Johnson. No pole sitter has won since last year. But what if he and Jeff Gordon are at the finish line? Based on what we saw last week at the end, what could happen? And who's won the last 2 restrictor plate races? That guy, Jamie McMurray. And you can see it's sunny and clear, and we're glad you're with us. Our Hollywood Hotel, located across from the start-finish line. And today, we'll call it our Sweet Home Alabama as we take you along for what we hope will be a wild ride. It already has been, in a way. Along with Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond, I'm Chris Myers. The gang.
He's already started.
He's pumped. I'm fired up just from listening to you. The gang is all here. And why, Darrell, is this such a special race, especially given today's circumstances?
You know, Chris, it's got to be the history, which is deep. It's got to be the mystery, which is like the unknowns. But my favorite thing about Talladega is when you hear these drivers say, it's just one of them racing deals, and that's what Talladega is all about. That and where the start-finish line is.
Now, why does that
creates
bother you?
A lot of excitement. Well, I would have probably won a couple more races, and other guys would too have if that start-finish line back in the middle of the straightaway.
Don't start going back in history, okay? Let's move
creates
forward.
a lot
Today,
of wrecks.
It's about tradition. It's about the speed of this racetrack. Today, we're going to see some speeds that we haven't seen in recent years, and it's going to be exciting, Chris, just because of that.
All right, so let's talk about exciting. Some of the drivers, their attitudes, mentally, physically, how they come into this, and we just saw Denny Hamlin, 19 days after having knee surgery, he goes to victory lane. He's toughed it out. He's gutted it out. Is he the guy to create the challenge for the championship to Jimmie Johnson, coming off a big win in Texas? And because of the rain, the tornadoes in the area on Saturday, qualifying was washed out. Not only limited practice time, that means points. That's how you arrange the starting order. So on the pole is Jimmie Johnson, and we've heard it prior to the start of the season. We've had great racing this year, but the history tied into this race last fall, and we'll explore. The gloves are off, bump drafting in the corners, the brain trust of NASCAR. How will that affect the racing that we see today?
Well, I think it's going to make it very, very interesting. It's also going to make it very dangerous. One thing these guys are doing is they're not just bumping into each other. They're actually laying into each other and pushing the car all the way around the racetrack. You're going to see today 2-car breakaways, and those cars are going to be 10 miles an hour faster. That's what everybody's going to be working on. Hooking up with somebody, co-opetition. Remember that. Work with whoever will work with you.
He makes up words along the way.
Mental attitude is already getting in play here. But
I'm jacked up. I'm not ready to go. I want to race.
But today, I've got to think about the fact of fun and fear. I mean, there is a fine line right now between these drivers that are having fun out there, and a lot of them right now are fearing the outcome of what could happen today.
Yeah, they wanted the driving back in the hands of the drivers, maybe in their feet as well. The gas pedal, brake.
That's what they used to say in the drivers' meeting, you know, it's in your hands, and we'd all look at each other. No, it's not. It's in our feet. You know, the gas, brake. Use the brake or the gas. Stay out of trouble.
Well, it's made for great racing here. Some people would debate that, but Talladega, NASCAR's biggest track, just over 2.6 miles around one of the tracks and biggest moments here and in the sport's history back in 1969 when NASCAR drivers held their first and only boycott. It did not last long, but the great racing here has. This place has earned a big-time reputation for super speeds and big wrecks. Let's get some thoughts on that from Larry McReynolds and Mike Joy. Hey, guys.
Hi, Chris. This track has been clouded in controversy since it was first built on what some say was the site of an old Indian burial ground. But Larry, as you look toward the end of this race and try to put your car in a position to win, how far back do you have to begin planning to be in the right place at the right time?
Well, you know, Darrell touched on it. It's the location of the start-finish line here at Talladega. When Bill France Sr. created this place, he wanted to do something different. Unlike all the other racetracks we go to, the start-finish line is about a quarter to a half mile beyond the center of the front stretch. Mike, in practice on Friday, we saw some drivers trying to figure out how to time that pass to be maybe not leading in the middle of the front straightaway, but leading when you get to the start-finish line. I know coming here as a young boy, my Dad, how about if we get some seats down there at that start-finish line? I believe it's going to get exciting when they get down to there.
Well, throughout Talladega's history since 1969, to get yourself into position to win, well, first you have to get that far into the race.
Well, there they go, right there.
Trouble in turn 3.
Here we go again, boys.
You can sum up Talladega in 3 short words. The big one. High speeds and big wrecks have made Talladega a tough place to win.
Trying to win the race is always a real challenge, and it's always kind of a toss-up to the very last lap.
The danger of Talladega had quite an effect on the inaugural race in 1969.
Everybody wants to run. It's just so dangerous, and all the crowd got together and said, okay, you know, we're just not going to run it. We're going to kill somebody if we do this.
Richard Petty and the other stars of the era would eventually race here, but someone else became the local favorite.
Dale Earnhardt has done it again.
There's a lot of Earnhardt fans, which makes it pretty challenging, for the rest of us.
Dale Earnhardt won here a record 10 times, including the final win of his career in 2000. Dale Jr. has carried the family banner with 5 Talladega wins.
I just like the style of racing. You're trying to manipulate your way into the lead at the right time of the race.
From the beginning, this track made a huge impact on the people of Alabama.
I was 7 years old the first time I went to Talladega. I wonder, had it not been for that track being built, would I even be in NASCAR and doing what I am today?
And in turn, the people have made Talladega unlike anywhere else in NASCAR.
The whole experience at Talladega is a little bit different than most racetracks. The infield atmosphere is much like Mardi Gras. It's a party inside of a race.
These guys are coming with their pickup trucks and partying around, and they just get wilder and wilder and wilder.
The NASCAR fan, their passion comes out more at Talladega than any other track.
Talladega is a place where NASCAR's past continues to intersect with its present.
And, Mike, it's hard to believe 500 miles, 188 laps, and the outcome of this race for your race team and your driver could come down to a half-a-second decision your driver makes probably between turn 4 and that start-finish line.
That's right, Chris. The reason Bill France put the start-finish line way down here after pit road was to make those seats immediately to the left just as prized and valuable as the ones back up in the tri-oval.
Yeah, I know Carl Edwards, based on what happened last year, probably wish that thing was moved. Brad Keselowski, who we'll hear from, doesn't mind. But this kind of a race, what kind of a driver does it favor, Darrell?
The one that ate his Lucky Charms this morning, as far as I can tell. That'd be the best one.
Really, just surviving and hoping for the best?
It really is. Timing, that's the big thing. Where you are on that last lap, that's what makes the difference here.
Patiently aggressive. You've got to have one of those drivers that are patiently aggressive.
There you go with that crew chief thing.
You're
That's
arguing
right.
already.
They got to know when to go and how to go.
All right. Well, we have a lot of ground to cover, and we have the right pit people to do it. Dick Berggren, Steve Burns, Chris Devoto, Matt Yoakum. Let's check in first with Krista.
That's right, Chris. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is showing some skin. Will he race on the Razor's Edge today? I'll talk to Dale.
Jeff Gordon has crossed this start-finish line 6 times ahead of the rest of the field, the most of any active driver, but the last 3 weeks have been frustrating. We'll talk to Gordon coming up.
Healthy respect and big rivalry. Some of the words uttered by his teammate Jimmy Johnson on Friday. We'll talk to driver 48 to find out if the road rules have changed once we've gotten to Talladega.
Well, Jamie McMurray surprised everyone by winning the Daytona 500. It was his second restrictor plate win in a row. Can he make it 3? I'll ask him.
All right, thanks, Dick, and we're glad you're tuning in. Here's what's around the turn from the Talladega infield. The drivers have been told to have at it this year, but what will that mean at Talladega and the big one. I'll tell you all you need to know. All right, now last season's big finish was unbelievable. We're going to talk with one of the drivers involved. And are they teammates or budding rivals? We'll recap Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, what they had to say about what happened last week and what might happen later today. As for the Texas winner, victory lane, maybe the best place for rehabbing that knee. We'll talk to NASCAR's hottest driver and NASCAR's most popular driver. All that plus Peasy's in the infield and gas and go. This is Fox NASCAR Sunday. NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
What's up, everybody? I'm Monica Palumbo, Miss Sprint Cup, born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, the home of NASCAR. I love being Miss Sprint Cup. I get to hang out with race fans. I get to interview drivers. It's the best job in the world. What you do in Talladega is you camp out and you grill out, and that's what we've done this weekend, doing a little barbecue and getting my chill on. You can't get much better than that. So back in the day, I was Miss North Carolina, and I lived in California and pursued acting for a few years. But now I get to wear a cool fire suit and loving it. I'm Monica Palumbo, Miss Sprint Cup, and you just got to know a little bit more about me. We'll see you at the next race.
All right, she's having fun. You know, if you want to follow Miss Sprint Cup, you can also get a lot more on the, this is the latest from Sprint, okay? This is the Sprint Moment, Samsung Moment phone, and it's got all kinds of apps, but you can actually punch it up and you can follow. You have a leaderboard of races. You can track your own driver. You can listen to the scanners while you're at a race, as long as, you know, you have it with you.
Now, that's what we need.
And you can punch in the keys, and you can call home as well, the Sprint Moment phone. But you would want to follow Miss Sprint Cup, I'm sure. All right, the phrase "Roll Tide Roll" is not a weather forecast. It's the chant of the BCS college football champion Alabama Crimson Tide. And whenever we have a question about the weather, we chant for Rick Dickert. He's our Fox Storm Scout at the Doppler Fox Storm Scout Center. Rick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Chris, and good news from the Storm Scout today. That frontal system that brought the severe weather yesterday has pushed south and east out of the region. 54 tornadoes in total yesterday across a good portion of the southeast U.S., one of which was just 66 miles north of the Speedway in Albertville, Alabama. Today, drier, stable air moves in. Look at the radar. Again, well to the south and east. No rain in the forecast, but warm, low 80s, and breezy west to southwest winds, 20 to 30 miles an hour, maybe some strong gusts. But it's going to be dry, guys, and I'm fired up for this one as well.
All right, thanks very much, Rick. Nice to have good news. And by the way, if you want to get this phone, go to sprint.com. /speed for details. The Sprint Moment. All right. Throughout the year, we have sent our man Peasy to do some offbeat interviews with drivers. It's been a good way for a driver to kind of showcase a different side of his personality here. But Peasy took his man of the people approach to the people here at Talladega, a place famous for its unique crowd.
Welcome to a very special edition of A Slice of Peasy. We're here in the Talladega Infield, and we have very special guests, Kyle and Kurt Busch. How are you guys? We're here with
William, Robert, Bob.
Billy, Bob. What is your favorite smell in a NASCAR race, sir?
Snorkel racing fuel.
Oh, I prefer sausages. Will you go out with me?
Maybe.
That's a maybe. That's the first maybe I've ever gotten. Where can I get something vegan around here?
Vegan? I have no idea.
Do you even know what vegan is? You got the semi-mullet. Let's turn to the side. It's a semi-mullet. It's not the full mullet that we're going for.
Side.
No, well, you do have business in the front, and it's only sort of a party in the back. Do you know what the internet is?
Yeah.
Will you friend me on Facebook?
No.
We're here in the Talladega Infield with?
Rico.
Rico Suave, right?
Right.
Yeah, you're a suave kind of guy. You want to know how I know that?
How's that?
Your shirt. You seem like this would be a good question for you. Who is your favorite character on Glee? Now, what does wild boar taste like?
Like a pig that's been roasted for a long time.
Judging from your accent, you're from New York City. If you were a woman, which NASCAR driver would you be most attracted to?
All of them.
So you get around then. Chris Myers or Jeff Hammond?
Do what?
Neither, because I don't know who either of them are.
Well, Billy, Bob, Ren, you have been fantastic.
Easy, y'all come on back down soon.
Let's do it!
They would have known.
I don't know if they are.
I knew you.
like that.
I knew you would love that, Daryl.
A man of the people.
A man
of the people.
You
right
can
there.
see Feezy on the show Cubed, which is at foxsports.com, part of Lunch with Benefits. Coming up on NASCAR on Fox. We know who this guy is, recognizable after the finish at Talladega last year. We'll talk with Brad Keselowski live in just a moment.
Kyle Busch is the class of the field.
They've done a nice job on the 18 car today. He's got a really good run.
Kyle Busch moving up in the points, but remember, he hasn't won a race since last August. Jimmy Johnson, your leader, one of the 4 Hendrick drivers, and yes, they're all in the top 12. 4 of those top 5 drivers in the points have not won a race in more than a year. And the reason Logano in 12th, the same number of points as Stewart, but is ahead of him is because he has better finishes this season. That's the tiebreaker. All right, the DirecTV head-to-head battle underway. As we saw last week, upsets were all over the place. It's a head-to-head battle, so that's why it changes every week a little bit how it can turn out. What are you guys looking at right now, Daryl?
I got 99 Edwards and 11 Hamlin today, and, maybe we'll get to talk to their BFF here in a little while.
Oh, their best friend, huh? Okay. I thought you went with the brothers. That's what I'm watching for, is Kurt and Kyle going at it today, because Kurt's really good on restrictor plates. Kyle's kind of struggles, so I think Kurt's going to take this out.
You can follow the matchups on DirecTV's NASCAR Hot Pass. Call 1-800-DirecTV to switch today. Learn more about the DirecTV NASCAR head-to-head knockout. Go to directv.com/NASCAR.
BFF. I'll explain that later.
It's been voted Fox's most spectacular wreck in our 10 years of NASCAR coverage. Just a quick refresher. Remember, it was the last lap of this race a year ago. Carl Edwards trying to fight off Brad Keselowski, and what ensued was legendary, and we'll link the two forever.
Carl Edwards from the back all day to the lead.
Edwards and Keselowski.
1 to go.
He's all over you here, just you and him.
It's going to be close right here at the line.
Can Keselowski try to win?
Inside. Is Edwards going? Oh, no. He turns him. No.
Oh my gosh. What a hit. Carl Edwards' car destroyed.
You know how he is. He's an athlete, a marathon runner. I want to finish the race.
And he did. Shades of Ricky Bobby.
Brad Keselowski won this race.
Keselowski, the winner.
Unbelievable.
Part of Penske Racing, Brad Keselowski is joining us live from down on the track. And thanks for being with us. A quick, Brad, what if same scenario occurs as the last year on that last lap with you and Carl Edwards? Are you doing the same thing?
Wouldn't change a thing. I felt lucky to even be in that situation. Still got to make it through it to get to that point, but I feel really good if we get in that situation that we can win another race here in Talladega.
Hey, Brad, it's a DW. Do you think that win propelled you to the opportunity to drive in the Sprint Cup Series?
Well, it's hard to really tell for sure, but it sure does look that way, and I feel great about the opportunity I have. Getting to drive the Blue Deuce next year, that's going to be awesome. To drive for Miller Lite with Dodge Chargers and Penske Racing. We've got a great brand, we've got great cars, and we feel like we can win for years to come.
Brad, this is Jeff. Now, last year you didn't really have a teammate. This year you've got 2 teammates in Kurt Busch and the Blue Deuce you talked about, and Sam Hornish. Will you guys kind of be working together to maybe get up toward the front today?
Yeah, you work together as best as you can. It's so hard to really make a deal with anyone. It's easy in the stands or the viewers watching at home to think that, we all have this planned out, but we really don't. It's just find the best guy you can find and get to the front however you can. So your friends are where you find them and who you make of them.
And Brad, Carl Edwards off the probation. He told us he's forgiven, forgotten, whatever. Are you guys over what happened, or is it still something in the back of your mind, considering there was some payback during the Atlanta race earlier this year?
Well, it'd be an injustice to my team to, spend all that time trying to worry about Carl. My guys work hard. The last thing they need is for me to focus my whole race on Carl. So they need me to focus on winning and doing what it takes to win. And if your focus is not 100% on that, you're not going to get the job done.
Hey, Brad, I know you didn't like Bad Brad, and I'm okay with that. I understand. How about BK? Brad the King.
I like that. They're all good. I mean,
right.
That's a good one, DW. Sounds like you've been working pretty hard on that.
I told you he was Special K. Isn't that right, Brad? Special K.
That's mine, too. Hey, I'll take them all.
All right, well, have fun today, Brad. Thanks again for your time. We appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you. It's going to be a great race.
It will be. And, you know, you talk about a bad hat, whatever that term, however you want to phrase it, somebody you root against, a guy that creates trouble. He's making a name for himself, and he has won a race at least.
Yeah, well, it's that enthusiasm. You know, it's youth. And they go out there, and I always say about guys like him, all they do when they see a race car is they say, let's race, let's race. And they want to race all the time. Sometimes they let that kind of take over, and they lose control.
I think it's that confidence. I think that's something that kind of rubs people wrong. This young man believes in himself. You give him the steering wheel, I'll figure out a way how to make it work and get to victory lane. And I think that's what has probably got him this ride for Penske, and that's what's got a lot of guys in the garage area not liking him so much.
Can't overcome. I love enthusiasm, and he is enthusiastic about what he's doing. I love it.
All right, we'll watch him today. We'll also be watching for Dale Earnhardt Jr., his chances of maybe winning a 6th time at this track. We'll talk with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and count you down to the start of the race here at Talladega. NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Enjoy so many $5 footlong subs all day, every day, only at Subway.
I just got a text from you.
Counting it down to the start of the race here in Talladega. You know, Friday, David Rudiman at over 198 miles per hour, the fastest car in the first practice session. Good chance, a good guy to watch today. Jeff Burton, just under 200 miles per hour, the fastest car in the final practice session. And those speeds combined with a high banked track up top, a double yellow line at the bottom, and a very small margin for error gives the pre-race drivers meeting special significance. It's still one of the most fascinating things in sports. All the competitors gather together before the race to go over the rule, Darrell, to answer questions, to interact before they go after each other.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more intense here at Talladega, because you heard Richard Petty say in that piece he did, drivers are a little bit afraid of this place. This place will scare you as a driver, so they try to calm their nerves a little bit before the race starts.
And, of course, the officials, Mike Helton, president of NASCAR there, to go over all the rules. Now, in the NFC title game, in the NFL, you know, when you went back in overtime, the Saints beat the Vikings without Minnesota ever touching the ball. It helped the NFL into changing their overtime rules. Well, NASCAR also underwent a change of heart. Despite more lead changes at Talladega than any other of the races last year, the expectations here always high, and that actually led to a landmark move for NASCAR.
The history of NASCAR shows a lot of changes.
You will not be allowed to push someone.
No one really knew what was going to happen if something did happen.
To bump draft them.
It's a hard situation.
Or to shove them through the turns.
I think that it kind of caught everybody off guard.
Keep some spacing off the car in front of you through the turns.
What can I do? What can I do?
Is there any questions?
It was here in this room at the drivers' meeting last fall when NASCAR laid down the law. The new edict, no bump drafting in the corner.
It was very clear, you know, no bump drafting.
I think a lot of people were kind of cautious about it.
The rule was met with surprise and skepticism by some drivers. They questioned the timing.
When you tell a driver a couple hours before a race, okay, you used to do something, now you can't do it at all, even though you define it, it's very difficult to adjust to that.
That new bump drafting policy enacted that morning, coupled with long single-file runs during the race, had some of those in the media covering the race label the event boring and unexciting.
I think the race was a little bit calmer than what it would have been.
It was boring. I mean, let's face it. You know, when people used to watching 2 and 3 wide at Talladega, and now they're seeing single file, that's boring.
Adding fuel to their fire was this from Tony Stewart's in-car audio during the broadcast.
Man, somebody tell me something interesting, keep me awake.
But some say that fall race was just business as usual for Talladega.
I didn't feel like last year's race was any different.
First 450 miles, you have to take care of your car.
Between the media and some of the drivers, they turned it into a huge deal, and I thought it was the most normal Talladega race we've had.
I mean, by the time you get to this level, you should be able to handle things like that.
Ultimately, though, it was the voice of the fans who spoke the loudest.
That's a big part of racing. That's a big part of how racing in NASCAR became so popular as it is today.
But the reality of it is the fans get the vote. And that's what separates our sport from other sports.
So it seems, at least for now, President Mike Helton and NASCAR have listened to the fans when prior to the start of the season at Daytona, they told the drivers, have at it, boys.
Since that rule's out the window now, it's going to be game on again.
I think they definitely listened to the fans, and they put it a little bit more into our hands, saying, okay, you guys bump draft, do what you want.
Just bump each other all around the racetrack.
You know, you wreck. That's your race is over.
You know, Chris, I'm okay with restrictor plates on the cars. We've kind of gotten used to that. But I don't want to see restrictions on the drivers. Let them go out and do their thing.
And I don't think the fans will.
No, they'll police themselves.
And NASCAR responded. And now the initial thing was safety, but there's a way if the driver has to have that line between the risk-reward, right? I mean, ultimately.
Yeah, you can't rely on anybody else except the driver. He's the guy that makes the decisions, not the spotter, not the crew chief, the driver.
And you're right about that. But in all fairness to NASCAR, when they made that decision last year, I still think they had that big crash between Keselowski and Edwards on their mind when they said, guys, we just can't have that happen again.
So what kind of race can we expect today, given, and I think we've already seen, now we haven't had Talladega yet this year, but with the gloves off, we've already seen exciting finishes this year in all the races we've witnessed.
Look, everybody, all these drivers talk about how dangerous this place is, and we all know that. But you know what? It's the best race we have on television. This race today, you watch, folks at home, it's pack racing. They're all wadded up there all together going around this joint, and that's why Monday when you're standing by the water cooler, somebody's going to say, "Did you see what happened at Talladega?"
Well,
and you better be watching.
And by the way, you know, it was a great piece, Chris, but I just want you to let you know, you look like a substitutes teacher standing there.
Yeah, my hair was a little out of place. But I'll do the I'll do the jokes.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
A substitute teacher.
And notice how the class was paying attention. They all walked out. But I was going to say, I think obviously the excitement race for fans here, this is what they wanted. NASCAR responded.
Oh, there's no question about it. And I tell you, when I start this race today, I will be a wad of nerves. Yep. I mean, my stomach right now thinking about this race today, I'm already a little bit, just the anticipation. I'm a little nervous.
And you won here 4 times.
We're going to see a great show. We're going to see a great show.
All right, Montgomery, Alabama, the capital here at Talladega, probably the capital of Dale country. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the fan favorite today and every day. After all, his father won 10 times at Talladega. Junior's won 5, including a stretch when he won 4 in a row. It's been 65 races, though, since his last win. But if there was ever a track in which Junior could avoid Route 66, this would have to be the place.
It's been a racetrack he's always liked. Dale Earnhardt Jr. goes to the lead at Talladega. He likes to go fast. Junior Nation comes to life. Earnhardt Jr. wins at Talladega.
Well, I told you Dale Jr. was showing a little more skin, a little bit more clean-shaven. Usually we see the playoff beards for hockey. I would imagine your mom likes this look a lot better.
Yeah, I reckon. We got a pretty good looking day today, and weather's going out of here, and the track's in good shape. And AMP Energy National Guard Chevrolet was pretty good in practice Friday. It's going to be a little bit different as far as the drafting technique and stuff, and how the spoiler works, and should be a lot of fun. Everybody's going to be learning a lot in the first half of the race, and pretty sure it's going to be another exciting finish as usual.
Dale, you mentioned fun. Choosing the right line, choosing a dance partner, is that as much fun as you can have in a race car?
Well, it's just a lot of work, really, trying to find somebody that works with you the way that where it works out for both of you, and somebody that you can find that's dedicated to you. But there at the end of the race, really, it just comes down to everybody trying to position himself and everybody working for themselves. And hopefully you get in the right line, give it the right person, do the right things, make all the right calls to put yourself in the lead when it counts. But it's really a lottery, so which makes it kind of fun, I guess. So it's a great race for the fans anyways, and it's always fun racing here.
Dale Jr. trying to cash in on that lottery today.
I like that, a lottery.
The lottery 500, yeah. You know, I like what he was saying, though, and we got some video here to back up what he's talking about. When these guys go out to practice, and they're out there, he's not just riding around, folks. Dale Jr., second car back there on the outside, the National Guard car. Watch this. He's making a move right here. Why is he making that move on 31 Jeff Burton? Because the start-finish line is right here, and that's where he wants to be leading, and that's what they do in practice. Timing, get with 2 cars, get with 1 cars. When do I want to make my move? I want to be the first one back to that line on that last lap, and they practice that all throughout practice.
And the thing is, Chris, Larry was talking about that, Daryl's talking about that, but you also need to watch guys like the 5-car Mark Martin, and I think Dale summed it up. You go out there, you race today, you try to learn, you try to figure out who can help you, who can't. He is still the Pied Piper here. When he gets out front or goes to the front, somebody's going to be watching, be learning off of that 88 car. He's still the best, I think, at restrictor plate racing. Even though Jamie McMurray's won the last 2 events, I like Dale Jr.
I like what Brad Keselowski said. You don't know who your friends are.
You got no friends.
You might make a guy really mad at the beginning of this race, and he might be the guy you'll be doing this to at the end of this race. Come on, buddy. We can do it. Let's work together. Let's be cooperators.
This is another new word. The 200th time. You know, we talk about numbers with Junior. 200th time in his career that he has spent time with somebody from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. There was a ill child this week whose wish was to spend some time around the racetrack with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He granted that wish with all of his other responsibilities getting ready for today's race.
Well, his daddy won here 10 times. And apples don't roll far from a tree. He knows how to win. This is opportunity for that man right there, and he knows it. He needs to capitalize on it today.
And coming off a race where he led the most laps this year, 46 in Texas. Coming up on Fox NASCAR Sunday Live from Talladega, we'll talk about some of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s teammates, a couple of four-time champions who are going at each other. We'll hear from Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. Glad you're watching here at Talladega as we catch you down to the start of the race in Alabama on a warm, sunny day. Thankful for that. Ryan Newman is in a backup car today. Mark Martin made contact with Ryan Newman during Friday's practice session. Ryan went into the wall, so that's the reason that happened. And, of course, no qualifying because of the rain on Saturday. The NASCAR Hall of Fame officially opening on May 11th. Tickets to enter the high-tech interactive attraction on sale now. A few weeks later, the NASCAR Hall of Fame will be the site for the induction of the inaugural class at the Hall of Fame. Tickets for both on sale at Ticketmaster. Go to NASCARHall.com or call 877-231-2010. Four-time champion Jeff Gordon stopped winning championships just about the time that Jimmy Johnson arrived full-time on the scene in 2012. And while Jimmy is now going for a fifth straight title, Gordon has been spinning his wheels at missed opportunities. But last week in Texas, he reminded us all of that famous line from the movie Network. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
You'd never know these two are teammates, Darrell, the way they're going at each other right now. But look at the aggression and the drive shown by Jeff Gordon.
Whoa, they hit!
4 times, a little upset. I guess they thought you got into him, I guess. Oh, he's treated different than everybody else.
They are after each other. You wouldn't know they're teammates today.
He ran in the back of me, you know, for no reason, and my car was just so good. I guess he thought I was being too aggressive. I don't know, and he just drove into my door.
I'm pretty disappointed in how he was racing me today. You know, we'll get to the bottom of it and sort it out.
You don't have teammates and friends out there. You got to go out there and race hard.
Well, Jeff Gordon, the good news is the last 3 weeks you've had a great race car. The bad news is you haven't been to victory lane. You and Jimmy got together. Some people have said, wow, it's good to see that fire back in Jeff Gordon. Is that an accurate thing to say, or has it always been that way?
I feel like the fire's always been there. You know, it's just when you have race cars like we've been having this year. We had it at Vegas, we had it at Texas, had it at Martinsville. It does get me and the entire DuPont Chevrolet team fired up. So, you know, when you know you've got a car capable of winning, and it's been a little while since we've had the type of race cars that we're having this year, and that's why I'm so excited and proud of is this team and how we've turned the corner this year. And there's no doubt that it's gonna make me want to push a lot harder out there to lead those laps and get those positions and get those wins. And we're knocking on the door. We haven't gotten there yet, but we keep running like this, it'll come.
Everything good with Jimmy?
Yeah. I mean, we're teammates, we're friends, and we're very competitive. You know, and that's all that was out there on the racetrack. And we're going to see more of that. You know, between us and between other guys. You know, that's part of NASCAR racing.
All right, good luck today, Jeff. Go for a 7th win, Matt Yoakum.
Friends and teammates for over 8 years. Words like respect and good rivalry used this week by Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. So what was the most constructive part of the conversation you guys had this week?
Well, I mean, I think we both know and realize that we're very, very competitive guys. And you know, there's things that happen on the track that frustrate people. It doesn't matter if it's a teammate or not. It's just part of racing. So I think through it all, I have better understanding of that and just the competitive nature that we have, regardless of the friendship or the teammate relationship that we have. And the other part, there's always two sides to every story. So it was a very, very good conversation, and looking forward to moving on and going racing, and certainly racing that 24 hard.
How has the spoiler here changed the nuances of racing at Talladega?
I have to say I have more confusion right now than I expected to. I mean, when we were at the test, I felt like I had a really good understanding of what the car was doing and why it was doing certain things, and it seems a little different coming back. Maybe it's just the environment we're in on the track. But then again, I've only been in a 15-car pack, and now we're getting ready for 43. So I think there's a lot of question marks right now in everyone's minds. Nothing bad, but knowing what the right move is going to be, or the right lane, how to race, what's going to help you pass. There's some obvious things, but there are some nuances that we just don't know yet.
He starts from the best place possible, the pole. He's a former Talladega winner. Chris?
Thanks, Matt, Jimmy, and Jeff. It's interesting. Jeff Gordon said we're going to see more of it. Whether it's Jimmy, teammate, whoever it is, he thinks he has a car that can win. He wants to win.
Yeah, this is NASCAR. He said that. This is NASCAR. We don't have team orders here. You go out there, you race everybody the same. But there are. I want to correct Jimmy on one thing. He said there's two sides to every story. Actually, there's three.
Really?
Yeah, his, mine, and the truth.
All right, so Jeff, for Rick Hendrick, the owner of the team, it's a win-win, right? Regardless, is he rooting for one guy over the other when they get down there?
I think he's very comfortable letting these guys kind of have at it, because again, they both have the experience. They know what they're trying to do, and I think Jeff Gordon kind of summed it up. He has now got a race car that week in and week out he can challenge Jimmy Johnson. Before, he had a good race car once or twice during the course of the year. It kind of like a surprise to everybody, and he didn't get a chance to get into a rhythm. So I think that it's great to see this 24 car being competitive every week, so he can show up and give Jimmy everything he can.
Trust me, I know Mr. Hendrick. You're just the crew chief. I've been the driver. He's out. He's cheering them on, because he loves that.
Yeah.
Well,
he's not an owner that says, back it off, boys, take it easy.
I agree with you. I think he's very happy with it. I think he's excited to have two champions butting heads like this, because all of a sudden, hey, we're getting a lot of television exposure.
4 times.
Yeah,
that's
right.
4 times.
Who's going to get the 5th first? All right, so much of the talk about this race is centered around Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy and Jeff, but keep an eye on Jamie McMurray, because he snuck up and stole the Daytona 500 in a Chevy, and then he won here last November in a Ford. It seems that there's no restricting McMurray when it comes to restrictor plate racing.
Little Jamie, baby! Ease back, I got this. Ease back, I got this. Slow down, cuz. Ease back, I got this. You got it, man!
This little cat's become a pretty good restrictor plate racer.
You snuck up on him at Daytona, leading only 2 laps, but won the Daytona 500. Last fall here at Talladega, led the most laps to win. That's 2 plate wins in a row. Can you make it 3 today?
Well, we've got a really good Bass Pro Shop Chevy. You know, it's going to be different today with the wing versus the spoiler. The cars seem to suck up a lot faster, and we already saw one of the guys, you know, just the accordion effect get wrecked on the backstretch. So I think the first half of the race has to be really smart, and if there is going to be a wreck, I think you'll see it early on. So we'll just be smart at the beginning, and you never know at the end.
How hard are you going to run today?
Well, at the beginning of the race, I'm not going to get very excited. You know, the last year when we won, I rode not in the back, but towards the back the first part of the race, and then at about halfway tried to go back up through there. So, you know, you just have to wait and see. You never know how the race is going to play out. It might get single file. You never know until you get in the car.
Good luck to you today. Thanks, Jamie.
All right, thanks, Dick. And you were talking to some crew chiefs about that, what he was saying, spoiler wing difference.
Yeah, I was talking to Kevin Mannion about their strategy and how they were going to kind of play out today. Definitely the wing versus the spoiler is a different feel for the guys. But what he liked about Jamie's philosophy, he lets the race car and the pace of the race kind of dictate to him. If the car's good, he'll go up front. If he not very happy and he doesn't like what he sees, he may drop to the back. They don't have a game plan, but the plan still is to be around at the end and win this darn thing, Darrell.
Yeah, I think the other thing that we got to watch today is the closing rate. Because of the little bit bigger restrictor plate and the rear spoiler, these cars really close on each other in a hurry. That's why you see guys knocking the fire out of each other. They get there and they can't do anything but run into the guy in front of them. Sometimes get bad results.
And we haven't seen 43 all in one pack at one time. This is going to be exciting.
Big one.
To win 3 restrictor plate races in a row, only Dale Earnhardt, the late great
Jamie
McMurray, has a chance to do that. Coming up, the story of plenty of pain, plenty of gain. Denny Hamlin with a win after surgery. How will he hold up today? We'll hear from him when we continue on Fox. NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by DirecTV. No one offers as much DVR storage as DirecTV.
Starting 7th in the number 88 National Guard Amp Energy Chevrolet from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Welcome back to Talladega, and they love to cheer on Earnhardt when he gets out in front. Watch the crowd, all 100,000 plus get up and cheer for Earnhardt Jr. Almost no chance of rain today. Just about everybody glad to hear that, except maybe Denny Hamlin. He's quickly become Mr. Monday, winning postponed races in Martinsville and Texas with surgery on his wounded knee in between. The driver of the FedEx car doesn't need a GPS to find the fastest route to victory lane.
Here he is, showing some gut. Denny Hamlin, surgery, left knee. He sent a strong message. I don't roll over.
Playing hurt cleans everybody's clock at Martinsville. Wins in Texas.
Well, Denny certainly proved that it's going to take more than surgery to keep him out of victory lane. I would imagine the celebration a little less exuberant, at least with that limp that you're still carrying around.
Yeah, for sure. It hampered the burnout more than it did anything, but definitely winning is a great remedy. I think a lot of people that have driven injured in the past have realized that. But we're just excited about the race today. One of the most excited races I've ever looked forward to here at Talladega today, and it's just we got great weather and a great race car, and hopefully we bring home 2 in a row.
I got to ask, knowing the big one could be coming, any nerves about that knee?
A little bit. I mean, I don't want to get in a big one for sure and get jarred too much, but that's part of it. This is what we come here for, no matter what, good or the bad, finish good or bad, you got to have fun at this racetrack, and we're going to have fun at least for a little while.
All right, the Bobcats couldn't upend the magic last night. Denny was at the game, but he's looking for the magic here at Talladega.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, he's become buddies with Michael Jordan. Maybe Michael Jordan, who's sometimes had to play through some pain. Maybe he can help Denny, because Denny, if you look last year when he won, all right, getting out of the car, victory lane, how excited he was, no problem. And then this week or last week in Texas, after the surgery, how gingerly in victory lane.
Jeff, you remember when I broke my left leg? I got in the best shape I'd ever been in my life. Because of that injury, I started working out and rehabbing the injury, and in the process, I got in the best shape I'd ever been in my life. I felt better in the car, I drove better, and we got great results coming off of an injury.
Yeah, he might want champagne instead of the ice for that knee every time he gets out. Is he the biggest threat to Jimmie Johnson for the championship?
Well, I think right now everybody's got to think he is, because he's won 2 races in a row, and he's showing some strength after coming off a great finish in 2009. Everybody was pointing at that number 11 to Joe Gibbs, saying he can challenge Jimmie Johnson. If this surgery pays off, by the time we get mid-season, we'll have a better idea. So it's a little bit early to say, but you can't count him out, that's for sure. He showed a lot of heart.
Sounds like you're waffling.
No,
you're saying no.
I think he has an opportunity to challenge him.
All right.
I'll help you. I'll help you.
Yes.
Right now, he's 10 points behind Jimmie Johnson.
Okay.
Going into the chase.
Okay.
And that's what these guys all think about and look at going into the chase. So who's the number 2 guy that can challenge Jimmie Johnson? Jimmie Johnson would like to know himself.
Yeah, maybe a guy like Jeff Gordon. Time for our Fox News Watch, and things are going to be different next February in Daytona when you tune in for the Daytona 500 on Fox. Yes, track officials will repave the track after the summer race for the 2011 season, and it'll be fast and furious and 3 wide. Our own Larry McReynolds, his son Brandon, in the 6th car in the ARCA race here at Talladega. Another high schooler, Dakota Armstrong, ended up winning the race. And a bit of a shakeup at Penske for next year. Brad Keselowski moving into the Miller Lite 2-car, Kurt Busch in the new 22 car with Pennzoil as the sponsor, and that means Kevin Harvick will not have that sponsor at Richard Childress Racing. Time now for Gas and Go. We have questions, they have answers, and I haven't even seen these. So
I am
this ought to be interesting.
I am ready.
All right, they have been locked away. Daryl, for you, sponsors, Hendrick, we just talked about it. Is the 29 in jeopardy? In other words, Harvick, yes or no, does he come back with Childress next year?
What's his options? I mean, I don't think other than
his own team?
Doing his own thing, that's pretty much it. I think he's got to work really hard to stay where he is and help Childress find a sponsor for that 29 car.
Okay. Jeff, you disagree real quick?
No, I agree. I think that's the smartest thing for him to do. I think Richard Childress has got his ship righted. Good place to stay.
All right, for you, Mark Martin said he's going to race in 2012. So where does he go?
I think he stays right where he is. I think he'll wind up still in that car, and eventually we'll see Casey Cam making a change, but I think right now he'll still be in the 5.
Too many options. He could go a lot of different ways, Mark can. He could have his own team. He can go to Stewart-Haas. He can stay where he is. Got a lot of options. I'm sure he's weighing them all out.
All right, but he'll still be racing. Daryl, our wins just around the corner for Kyle Busch. Led 113 laps at Phoenix. Then Monday had a pretty good run. Hasn't won a Sprint Cup race since last summer.
Well, he's putting himself in position to win, and we know he's a winner. We know how much he hates to lose. There's nobody out there that hates to lose more than he does. He needs to get on the stick, though. He needs to win a couple right away.
All right, Jeff, who's the best driver who has yet to win a restrictor plate race? Guys like Kurt Busch, Hamlin haven't won one.
I think you just named it. Kurt Busch, I think, is definitely the best one because he runs so well and getting guys into position. He just has not put himself in the right position. Remember, he helped Ryan Newman win the Daytona 500. He knows how to get the job done around here. I like his chances today.
He's finished third at Talladega 4 different times. All right, Darrell, a lot of guys raced both races last Monday. They're doing it today because the Nationwide will follow our race, the Cup race. How about demanding? Do guys think about it? Can they block it out?
Physically, no problem. Mentally, after 500 miles of Cup racing, you are going to be mentally exhausted. That's going to be the factor in the race.
All right, Jeff, can Martin Truex Jr. turn his luck around? Crashed out of the last 4 races, has failed to finish 8 of 10 at this track.
I hope so because I talked to Pat Tryson, his crew chief, today. I think they've got a game plan to keep this 56 car out of trouble and get it to the end of the day.
Pretty good at Daytona back in February.
Is it right, Darrell, for David Rudiman from Florida to be driving a car commemorating Alabama's national championship, the logo, on a car that owner Michael Waltrip, your brother, is from Kentucky?
You better be careful
well, Michael and I are huge Kentucky fans. The only reason we did this was for Larry McReynolds. That's the only reason.
That was the right answer.
He is wearing us out, and I know that I'll be glad when this race is over with today.
Kind of an SEC head-to-head matchup here.
Yeah.
Rudiman might be a guy worth watching today.
He was a surprise in practice the other day. That 0-0, do not underestimate him. He could be a surprise winner here today.
All right, thanks for playing.
Alabama was a surprise.
All right, so how about Carl Edwards, the young woman who was injured last year? He's taking care of her. She's here with her father watching the race. What are his thoughts, you think, going into this race today, thinking about maybe what happened last time?
When you're a driver of a race car, you don't ever want to hurt a crew member on pit road. And here she is right here, and a sweet young lady. Carl's giving her his helmet.
Her name is Blake Bobbitt.
But a driver never wants to be involved in something that hurts somebody outside the race car. I know Carl has to really be glad to see her here and helping her out.
All right, now have fun on the booth. The call of the race. I know you'll be excited. Calm down.
Time to go. You and Larry Mack in Alabama.
I've been drinking decaf ever since I got up this morning, but it ain't working.
All right, we'll stay tuned for the call of the race, the start of the race. Jeff and I will get his Verizon checklist in a moment as we count you down, and these are the faces of the guys that will be at high risk when we roll in Talladega. And live here at Talladega, Darrell Waltrip from the Hollywood Hotel to the play-by-play booth, saying hi to the folks, getting ready to call the race with Larry McReynolds and Mike Joy. His brother, Michael, all 4 of his career wins have come in restrictor plate races. Now let's head down, as Elliott Sadler has led here in the past but has yet to win. Let's head down trackside for opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Alabama Army National Guard presents our nation's colors. Remain standing as Alabama Raceway Ministries chaplain and pastor of Camellia Baptist Church of Prattville, Alabama, Reverend Mark Stokes, offers today's invocation.
Let's pray. Lord God of heaven, we bow in thanks for your goodness. We pray for your peace and comfort to surround those victims of yesterday's storms. We pray for your protection over every participant and every fan at today's race. And Lord, we pray for your continued blessings on this great nation and our armed forces. In the name of Jesus, the Savior, we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Nashville recording artist Brittany Black.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner
Let's hear it for Brittany Black.
The start of the race is moments away. You're watching NASCAR on Fox. Live at Talladega, they almost take on the look of a superhero as they get into their cars and get ready to go at up to 200 miles per hour, traveling in packs, and who knows what's going to happen. And they rely on a lot of people, Jeff, including their spotters, as you can look from where they are. And Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, the Hollywood Hotel. Time to check on the Verizon checklist. Jeff, what are you looking at?
Well, interesting you say that. You look up here, you see these guys are the spotters. Spotter is the driver's best friend at the start of this race. I mean, he needs to be able to trust this guy. They'll keep him out of trouble, and if they don't listen, they may get him into trouble. The other thing is you got to be looking for a draft partner. That's right, that dance partner is your next best friend, and during the course of the race, they're going to be looking for who's going to be the best friend at the end of the day. And then last but not least, the big one, it's not your best friend. You want to keep out of that thing all day long. You need to work extra hard to try to look ahead and anticipate what's going to happen in front of you. And then, as Darrell's been talking about all day long, get lucky. Stay out of it.
We have seen in this decade a 27-car wreck. Now, Matt Kenseth second in points, Greg Biffle third. A Ford is the only manufacturer who's yet to win a race this year. And the Roush Fenway Fords, Richard Petty Motorsports, they're going to be running the FR9 Ford engine for the first time in a race with that many engines and that many cars.
Yeah, and everybody's really happy with the performance of that engine so far. Talked to several guys that work on the teams.
What's the difference?
The biggest thing is these engines cool better. They can run more tape. Today we talk about the drafting, guys pushing one another around. They might be able to do a better job of pushing someone and not overheating.
I mentioned we haven't had a pole sitter win since last year. Here you can have a guy from the back of the pack go up front. How important is it for a guy to lead early versus obviously just hanging around to the end of the race?
I think you got to do what's comfortable, Chris. That's the key thing. Be comfortable and take care of your equipment the early part of the race.
Jimmy Johnson is on the pole, and Matt Kenseth joining him on the front row. We're just about ready to go on one of the sport's most popular races.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome Director of Athletics for the University of Alabama, Mal Moore.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. winning one of his favorite tracks. What about Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon? Will they both be there at the end? The start of something big from Talladega straight ahead.
When built, it was the fastest speedway on earth. The dream of Big Bill France to create a racetrack that was bigger, steeper, faster than his famed Daytona International Speedway. Cloaked in controversy from the day it opened, what is now known as Talladega Superspeedway has always been a favorite of some drivers and feared by others. It is a perfect day for racing. A few high puffy clouds will provide a little bit of needed shade for these sun-drenched fans that have come from far away and driven long distances to see the one race in our half of the season that you know is going to be exciting, you know is going to be eventful, and you know, Darrell, that any lap of this race could be the one you remember for the rest of your life.
Well, for the most part of the day, you're going to be dancing with the cars. And the other thing you want to watch as we do in-car shots of the drivers is how their eyes are dancing around. Your mirrors, your spotter, all the things outside the race car that you can't see, that you can't control or see, those are the things a driver has to have. He's got to have that spotter telling him what's clear high, clear low, and he got to have those mirrors set right so you can see where everybody is around you and behind you.
Larry, your friends are where you find them out on the racetrack. It might not be your teammate or even someone driving the same make of car. You need to find a friend to pit with, and you need to keep that driver up on the chip all day. That's a lot to do.
Yeah, and of course, Jeff Hammond touched on the spotter can be one of the most important members of that race team. You know, of the 22 racetracks we go to, the one you feel like as a crew chief that you've done your work prior to pushing to the line, yeah, you've still got to make a lot of decisions, 2 tires, 4 tires, but you feel like you control the least amount of the outcome
outcome of your destiny here at Talladega. But the one thing I will say, a fuel run is about 42 to 46 laps. On that last stop, you might think about 3 attempts at a green-white checker. We've not had one yet. This could be the day.
Could be the first time. Let's have a look at the Budweiser starting grid for today's race, which was set by car owner points and by qualifying attempts, which meant that only 2 drivers went home, Eric Almirola and Terry Cook. Here are the 43 who will start today's race, and Darrell's going to dial up the most recent restrictor plate winner.
Jamie McMurray, it's a DW. Got a copy?
Clear, DW.
All right, my man, are we going to have a Big Mac attack today? You seem to be Mr. Restrictor Plate here lately.
Well, we've got a good Bass Pro Shop Chevy. Actually, I got Johnny Morris from Bass Pro Shop on the pit box today, and he and his boy John Paul were at Daytona and won. So we're hoping they're going to bring us a little luck. But you just got to make it to the end of this deal, and hope you can make the right moves at the right time.
Well, this is a pretty big pond you got to fish in here today. Good luck, man. I hope you catch the big one.
Yeah, thanks, TW.
Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth on row 1 to bring them down to the green flag. This race is brought to you by Budweiser, the beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. As mentioned, the pit road is further up the racetrack than the start-finish line. It's in front of the tri-oval, and our fantastic foursome will patrol the pits today. And let's get a word first from Steve Burns.
Mike, over 100,000 fans are enjoying a beautiful Alabama Sunday, in stark contrast to the weather yesterday. Dark, angry, menacing skies caused NASCAR to cancel all on-track activities. The tornadoes that caused so much damage in Mississippi were headed directly to this part of the country. Fortunately, the storms skirted this area. As Jeff Hammond and I rode in this morning, fans had lit the campfires, were throwing a football, or playing Chucko. They are here in strong numbers, over 100,000, Chris Devoda.
Would you believe no driver in a Ford here today has won a race at Talladega? The Ford team's using the new FR9 engine, including Greg Biffle. Greg Irwin, his crew chief, told me all the I's have been dotted, the T's have been crossed, and even with the spoiler that adds a little bit of drag, their fuel mileage still looks about the same. They are good to go. Dick Berggren?
Well, Kevin Harvick's nickname is Happy Harvick, but right now it probably should be named Hungry Harvick, because he has not won a Cup point-paying race since the 2007 Daytona 500. But he's got a strong horse today. He's got the car he won the shootout with at Daytona in February. He starts up front in the 4th position, and moments ago I asked him if he thought he had a real good shot to win this thing. He looked at me and smiled, and Harvick said today, everybody's got a shot to win this thing. Matt Yoakum.
Dick, no driver's had a better month than Denny Hamlin. Chris Devoda documented that earlier in the pre-race, but no driver of late has had better cars at Talladega, yet not gone to victory lane, than Denny Hamlin. They brought back the car that was so stout here a year ago, and when you pull the guys that really matter at this place, the spotters, because they see everything, they said his car looked perfect in practice. He could go wherever he wanted. The car would do whatever he wanted it to do. Keep an eye on the 11. His best finish here is 3rd. They think today that'll change with a win.
Let's take a look at our FedEx Understanding the Race. These are the trends or the patterns crew chiefs will look at. Our last 9 spring races here, NASCAR on Fox. Number of cautions, average 7. How about 2001, caution-free? In fact, we've had 3 caution-free races here at Talladega. The first caution, average lap 32, but 4 times in those 9 races, the first 10 laps. The longest green flag run, average 76 laps. We always have 1 to 2 green flag pit stops here. And the last caution, average lap 177, roughly 10 laps to go. That's for sure been the pattern at all tracks in 2010.
If nothing else, this has been the Speedway of surprises. 10 NASCAR drivers scored their first ever Sprint Cup victory here. For 7 of those, it was their only win. Richard Brickhouse, who won the first race. Lenny Pond, who won for a long time the fastest race in NASCAR history. Ron Bouchard, as a rookie, steamed around the outside of Darrell and Terry Labonte to win in '81. Dick Brooks, Bobby Hillin, Phil Parsons, and last year Brad Keselowski.
You race the favorites every time you come here, but you always leave it open for somebody that you wasn't expecting to see up there, and that's how you get those first-time winners.
Let's take a look at our race analysis for this 188-lap, 500-mile race. Pit road speed, 55 miles per hour. The pit window for Sunoco race fuel, 42 to 46 laps. We will have a competition caution on lap 20, which means you can pit before lap 20, but you cannot fuel the car until that lap right there.
New to Talladega is NASCAR's new rear spoiler. We started out at Martinsville on the half-mile, went to Phoenix the 1 mile, Texas the 1.5 miles, and now we're at potentially NASCAR's fastest speedway for the first time with this new appendage that increases drag and downforce. How will it play into today's race?
I think we're going to see a fast race, Mike. I think the cars are handling really good. The guys say they got a lot of downforce with this new rear spoiler. We've got the biggest plate we've had here in quite some time, which means we're going to have fast speeds. This could be a record pace today.
Well, we've set the table for you as best we can. Let's turn it over to the fellows who are behind those windshields and inside the helmets to tell you about the opening laps of Talladega.
You know, I think when you come down to take the green, it's the first 30 seconds of the race don't really get too wound up, but it doesn't take long for everything to get tight and busy in a hurry.
You can expect craziness, at least I can promise you that. You know, so it's exciting. There's a lot of lead change, a lot of back and forth, and as a driver, I really enjoy it.
You know, I wish that we would have heart rate monitors in the car.
You know, going into this race that just the mindset that it takes to approach this race is totally different than anywhere else we go.
Pins and needles, Darrell?
Oh, always. It's just that anxiety that you have coming to get to green, because we know you can wreck here anytime, even on the first lap if the cars are going all over the place like they can do here.
You know, we talk about a record race pace. Honestly, I think we could set a record for lead changes, especially the way we saw those two cars. They were talking about it in the pre-race, being able to hook up and pick up 8-10 miles per hour by themselves, nose to tail.
And I don't want to hammer about wrecks all the time. I know we talk about it all the time when we come here. It's great racing as well, but on the driver's mind is staying out of trouble, not wrecking.
We may see some single file freight train parade style racing for a while. But not for long.
You have to do that, Mike.
Yep.
Your heart, you heard him talk about a heart monitor in the car. Your heart won't take 188 laps of intense racing around here like it gets. You got to take a little break somewhere along the way.
Well, folks, watch and enjoy these first 187 laps, but remember, 16 Talladega races, including 5 of the last 9, were decided by a pass on the last lap.
What you don't want to have happen is to be standing by the water cooler in the morning and somebody says, "You see what happened at Talladega?"
All right, fellas, here we go.
DW, she's the biggest, she's the baddest, and she's the boldest, and she is the fastest. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Thank you there, crew chief. Appreciate it very much. I'm setting on ready. I'm sort of jacked up for this thing. I'm ready to go. Hold this field down as I come down here to get the green. Waiting on the flagman. Green flag in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing Talladega style, boys.
Didn't just drive into the lead. Kevin Harvick shoved him there.
Jamie McMurray in that one car talked to him there under the pace laps. He did not come up to speed.
Don't get too concerned just yet. Might be falling to the rear on purpose.
Who will lead the first lap? Remember, the start-finish line is not in the middle of the tri-oval. Here, it's all the way down past the exit of pit road. KB, Kyle Busch with an assist from Jeff Burton, leads lap 1.
And they're going to jump right down in front of Matt Kenseth in that 17 car, as well as Kevin Harvick in the 29. In fact, the front 6 nose to tail at the bottom of the track.
And automatically, as soon as that green flag came out, you know what you're looking for? Somebody to work with. somebody to love.
We believe that both the Earnhardt Ganassi cars, Jamie McMurray and Juan Pablo Montoya, dropped toward the back on the initial start.
It just wouldn't surprise me, Mike. It wouldn't surprise me to see several guys do that because of that. What we talked about early on, this wad of cars right here, don't want anything to go wrong early in the race.
Teammates on the high side, the orange car Logano, Denny Hamlin pushing him all the way up to 6th place from mid-pack.
And I mean, when you look at this wad of cars, yeah, this racetrack is wide enough for about 5 wide, but all it takes is one of those guys, one of those drivers to bobble a little bit, and that's what causes the big one.
Here's the phenomenon that we see at Talladega that we haven't seen for, I don't know, ever up to the last couple of years. Look at those 2 cars on the outside.
The 2-car tango, 2 cars working together can be faster than the entire pack.
Just look at right there. Joey Logano, the 20, 190 miles an hour, where the pack was running in the mid to high 180s.
And you'll see that'll happen all day long. Remember in the pre-race show we talked about timing. You want to figure out when to get that 2-car thing going more for the end of the race. You're working on it from the beginning.
Here they come from out of the middle. Kenseth with Harvick, and now Kenseth alone can't get all the way to the lead because of Logano and Hamlin. 33 cars in this lead pack.
And that 2-car thing, Mike, took a lot of guys by surprise a year or so ago. Now they know it works. Now they anticipate it. Now they try to get involved in that. You see what happens when they break up.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin backed all the way into Dale Jr. just because the 2 outside and inside lines converge, close up on them. The middle lane, nowhere to go.
You get caught in the sucker hole, that middle hole there where you see Logano in the 20 car. You can make a little progress there, but boy, it's treacherous.
Now these 2 cars coming to the start-finish line now. Matt Kenseth in the 17, Harvick in the 29. They've been locked together since the drop of the green flag.
5 cars out of the middle trying to break away with 1 on the bottom. And they just cannot get away from this pack unless they are 2 by 2. That 2-car tango out front, we're going to see a lot of that today.
Let's find out and see what's happening with the 1 and the 42 down there in the pits. What do you guys know?
DW heard Jamie Mack say early on that he was going to try to play it conservative, and that's a strategy that Kevin Mannion told me earlier this morning. They're going to play it conservative for the first half, and it's great that they have a good company teammate, as in the 42 of Juan Pablo. They were going to try to work together.
The bad thing is they're a quarter of a lap or more behind in 42nd spot. Harvick looking for the lead. He wants to lead a lap, and he will.
Well, those 2 guys had enough lead. They could swap and let each other lead another lap. But back to McMurray and Montoya, what I don't like, the leaders are running 48 80s and 90s. Montoya and McMurray 51 50s.
Yeah, that grouping up like that only works when you have the draft of the big pack. Once you fall the back, your 3 or 4 cars just can't keep up with the draft of that big pack.
Junior and Hamlin.
Here we go.
Logano and toot, train's coming through.
Coming through, boys. And the reason this will work, folks, is because, see, they're in the corners. They can, with this car, front and rear bumper lines up so well, you can push a guy all the way around the racetrack, and that's why it works.
And the reason it doesn't work with 3 cars is if the 3rd car pushes the 2nd car out of shape, the 1st car could go for a ride.
Yeah, and the other thing is you can only do that for a couple of laps, Mike, because the guy pushing will get his engine will get too hot. They got to swap.
But Hamlin in the 11 pushed the 88 up there before they got to the start-finish line. He ducked out, took the lead from Dale Jr. in the 88.
Now which lane's going to go? Earnhardt's got a firm lock onto Hamlin's bumper. And from the outside, here comes Tony Stewart, and he's got help.
See, even this early in the race, you're already saying, I'm sure Dale Jr. is saying to Hamlin, oh, so that's the way you're going to play the game.
Make a note of that.
Yes. Let me write that down.
Yeah, that's the 19 car of Elliott Sadler that's pushing Tony Stewart in the 14 on the high side.
Elliott Sadler went from 27th to 5th in 1 lap.
It's all about getting in the right line and making the right move, and you can do that very easily.
And I'm going to tell you what, there's a car in the high side, that 34 car of Travis Quapple. He started back in the 34th position. He's up there in the 8th position on the high side.
Quapple in yellow and blue, 4th in line on the outside.
I wonder if these guys know that there's going to be a yellow flag at 20 laps. They're not racing like there's going to be one.
All right, Hamlin led the first lap. Here comes Stewart and Sadler. The S&S boys teamed up here.
Well, the thing, we talk about lead changes. Unfortunately, the way it's monitored is at the start-finish line only. There's no telling how many lead changes we have around the entire racetrack.
And my favorite word for restrictor plate racing, particularly here at Talladega, is co-opetition. That's a Ford pushing a Chevrolet. Why? Because look where they are.
Because he can. 8 laps complete. Tony, Stewart, Elliott, Sadler have shot out in front of the field. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, by Napa, Napa Know-How, and by the all-new 2011 Super Duty Built Ford Tough.
11 laps complete. When we went to break, it was Tony Stewart, Elliott Sadler, Paul Menard. Now it's David Reagan, Mark Martin, Matt Kenseth, and Regan Smith from 31st position. Now taking over third on the outside of Mark Martin in that black number 78.
Well, all I know is Steve Burns made a note of it in the pre-race. Over 100,000 people here. We're 12 laps into it. They have not sat down yet.
Don't need no dadgum seat.
Just standing room.
Need a box to stand on so you can see over the guy in front of you. And I'll tell you right now, Mike, I'm already into the quick.
been biting your nails, huh?
we haven't gone very far.
From Syracuse, New York. Rookie of the year and losing the lead right now to Kurt Busch, who comes by on the outside. Slips up ahead of Smith for the lead. Keselowski in the 12 on the bottom. Hamlin on the outside. They fan out 4 wide in the tri-oval. Busch leads this lap.
And the tri-oval, I know it looks real simple and gradual and all that. That's a tough part of the racetrack. Hanging on to a race car in the middle, 3 wide.
Now in 7 laps, we'll have the competition caution. This is what happens when Saturday gets washed out and there is no practice. NASCAR will throw a predetermined yellow flag so that the teams can check tire wear and everything else. We can all catch our breath.
And we don't anticipate any tire issues here, even with a green racetrack without rubber, but that's being consistent when we lose Saturday's practice.
Watch the 48 right behind the 5 of Mark Martin. That is Jimmy Johnson, your point leader and champion. Got a little beat around a little bit from Jeff Burton there.
Yeah, he was caught in the middle. Now he has dropped all the way back to the 14th position, but I think everyone that's dropped back knows that in about 6 laps will have that caution regardless of where they're running.
Riding with Jimmy, Joey Logano, last year's Rookie of the Year from Middletown, Connecticut, 19 years old, did a great thing this morning. A group was riding along in a golf cart. Here was Joey on his cart coming the other way. He saw a 4-year-old girl on that cart wearing a Joey Logano shirt. He stopped his cart in front of them, made them stop, hopped out and signed the shirt for her.
Sweet.
That's a class act.
That's sweet.
5 laps when they come back to the competition yellow. Steve?
And Mike, Larry Mack was talking about that competition yellow. Steve Letarte, Jeff Gordon's crew chief, told me this morning you're going to see tire strategies all over the place. He said it just depends on where you want on the track. They might change rights or just lefts or maybe even no tires. Really depends where you want to go back out on the racetrack.
I really believe this first stop, you're going to see most of them go with 2 right side tires only. You got to be there at least long enough to dump 1 can of fuel. 2 tires is pretty much free on the stopwatch. But you look at Joey Logano in the 20 car. We talk about him being 19 years old. He'll turn 20 next month. You look at his runs here last year, top 10 finishes in both races in 2009 here.
You know, Bobby Hillin won this race, and he was 22 years old. That's the youngest winner we've had here. Logano could shatter that record.
From 3 wide to 2x2. Logano and his teammate Kyle Busch come by leading in the bottom lane. Joe Gibbs Racing with 3 victories here. And here comes Earnhardt, and he has been the Pied Piper of Talladega, and he's leading that outside line up toward the front.
Yeah, the Pied Piper's getting a little group assembled on the high side.
The problem that the Pied Piper has is everybody wants to be the Pied Piper. Whoa, boy, look. Saw Hamlin in the 11 dancing around a little bit there.
Next Saturday night, NASCAR on Fox goes short track racing for our final time this season. Richmond, Virginia.
It seemed like when we were there a year ago, those two cars we're looking at, the 18 car of Kyle Busch and the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr., I think they had a little altercation late in the race at Richmond.
Logano has led 4 laps. That's the most of anybody. Will he notch his 5th right here? He will, by a car length and a half.
With that slow car down on the inside there, that always creates havoc as you try to work your way around there, because you're going to run up on the back of that slow car. Something's got to give.
That's Robert Richardson, who ran the Daytona 500, finished 18th. This is only his 2nd start this season. He's in that 37 on the bottom.
Worked out all right. They got through there okay.
Now, Darrell, this is teammates that have linked up and are running tight with one another. And that's pretty much forced everybody to get in line, mind their P's and Q's for a bit.
It has, and you'd love to be able to work with your teammate, because you can talk to, see, these guys, these teams that got radios, they can talk to each other. So you'd love to be able to work with your teammate if his car's as good or equal to yours.
Busch brothers battling side by side for 2nd.
But the thing I see, those 3 Joe Gibbs cars, they've got nose to tail up there. 1, 2, 3. You're looking at them right there. Logano, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin on the bottom side with Brian Vickers following suit.
So that's 4 Toyotas at the front. And keep an eye on that 31 today. After practice Friday, many people thought that Jeff Burton might be one of the best drafting partners out there. He did an awful lot of pushing and being pushed to run some fast laps here on Friday in that cat car.
Well, I think people feel good running with Jeff Burton. They know he's going to do what it takes to get up to the front, but they know he's not going to make a stupid move on the racetrack.
Yeah, he's a real good decision maker when it comes to staying out of trouble, not getting you in trouble. Just saw Jeff Gordon have his hand out the window. I'm not sure if he was
to the car behind, which is Elliott Sadler.
I don't know if he was saying don't bump me right now. Maybe he's a little uncomfortable. Something though, had that hand waving.
All right, look at Jeff Burton in the 31 car versus Joey Logano in the 20. Right there, 7 miles an hour faster. Again, getting that push from Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88.
Smell of oil as the cars went past the start-finish line, and they believe it's Casey Kane who has slowed up a bit. Remember, he's head-to-head against Bobby Labonte this week in our DirecTV competition.
And just remember, our pit reporters in the pre-race talked about it.
Different ignition system and stuff just to make sure. How's your oil temperature and your oil pressure and all?
All of the Ford teams running that new Ford FR9 engine here this weekend.
And one of the things that they've been concerned about durability-wise was the valve train.
Jeff Burton just led that lap. That is his first today, or his 2nd lap today. And he was pushed by Robbie Gordon, who celebrates a milestone, his 350th Cup start. Driver number 7, Robbie Gordon from Orange, California. 20 laps complete. This is when we expect the competition caution, and here it is. So the teams will get ready to come pit side to check tire wear, add Sunoco race gas, and make adjustments. 20 laps complete. Welcome back. Most everyone has pitted. Dick Berggren.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. took just 2 tires. Mike, a nice pit stop by the crew. Earnhardt concerned about his brakes. Steve.
4 tires for Brian Vickers in the 83, Dick. He says the car is good, but the racing is crazy. Matt?
And the 2 of Kurt Busch, just 2 right side tires. Needed a little bit of a wedge adjustment. Wanted to try to get the back of the car a little more in the racetrack to help with the bump drafting.
And I think that's pretty much what we expected. Most of these guys just going with 2 right side tires.
Earnhardt concerned about his brakes. He used a lot of brake here, dragging it, trying to keep in line behind the guy in front of him.
Put up on Casey Kane. 10 drivers chose not to pit. Robbie Gordon is still our leader. Mark Martin, Travis Kvapil, Greg Biffle, Max Pappas, and others. Under the caution, Robbie Gordon led 10 cars around and did not pit. Gordon got the 5 points for leading a lap. That's all important in the car owner points to determine the qualifying exemption for next week. All those cars have now pitted, and Kurt Busch leads his teammate Sam Hornish, Joey Logano, and Elliott Sadler down to the green flag.
Of those cars right there, the first car in line to take 4 tires would have been Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car. Everyone else in front of him, 2 right sides only.
I would have taken 4 right there, just like Chad did, because now it sets me up to take 2 later if I want to.
Especially if we go through a full green flag run.
And we very well could. Of course, we very well could not, too.
Here comes Logano back hunting the lead, and all through practice Friday it seemed Dale Earnhardt Jr. was locked onto Logano's bumper as if they were teammates. I guess for the moment they are.
I think Jr. looked at Logano and said, you know, he's got quick hands. I think I'll hang with him. He moves around pretty good.
Kurt Busch will not give up the lead. Now it's Busch and Logano coming back to the stripe. A couple of cars reporting problems over that first 20-lap run. First to Dick Berggren.
Casey Kane was one of those, Mike. The engine sounded sorrow as he came by here. The crew worked on the engine. They found a bad spark plug, closed the hood, and sent him back out. He should be okay. Steve.
Dick Matt Kenseth spent some extra time on pit road. The team said he had a problem with a vent tube. Now, before the caution, Matt Kenseth, we've talked about how important spotters are. His spotter is Mike Kalanoff. They're having a little bit of a problem getting their timing down. Let's listen.
Don't get offended and don't raise your voice. I mean, you just need to take a deep breath and pay a little more attention here. You're really late on your calls. You called me 2 wide, now it's 3 wide. You called me 3 wide, now it's clear. The guy was to my right front fender before he told me he was outside. I don't know what you got to do, but you got to get regrouped here. I got to know what's going on in traffic a lot more than I am here. Copy that. Just a tough angle there coming off before, but we're good. Just really need you to be in the seat here with me, buddy. I just need your help today, so do the best you can. 210, Todd.
Well, they are 4 wide right now coming out of turn 2. This is really tight.
And you depend on your spotter. I mean, more than anywhere we go, he's got to be in the car with you. He's got to got to be your eyes all around.
Larry, I know Mike Kalanoff spotted for your son Brandon the other day.
I tell you what, Mike is the best in the business, and you heard him tell Matt, which I agree. When they're coming at him off of turn 4 like they are right there, this is what the spotter's seeing. This is the view, and it's hard to tell when that car's maybe got his fender, your quarter panel, or vice versa.
And Larry, you're right. He's the best in the business, and he and his driver are struggling a little bit.
Brian Vickers leads this lap with an assist from another Toyota. That driven by Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin 3rd, Dale Jr. 4th, and Jimmy Johnson 5th. They are your Toyota top performers of the race right now, with Logano in 8th, 27 laps in.
And the frustrating thing about racing here is you see Vickers down there on the bottom. They get that big lead, and all of a sudden, you watch, they'll get shuffled back into the pack with this group on the outside.
Here comes Johnson with Kurt Busch. Looks at the back bumper of Kyle Busch, looks further inside, thinks a little better of it, sweeps up high in that trioval.
But I'm going to tell you the 2 cars we better watch. Those 2 cars on that outside. Denny Hamlin in the 11, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88. They hooked up rear bumper to front bumper.
Boy, the closing rate is so fast on these cars when they're catching a car in front of them. Somebody's going to run over somebody before it gets over with here.
Now Kurt Busch at the blue deuce in the middle. Let's see if he can make any forward progress. He's going to try to catch up to his younger brother Kyle, who is pushing Brian Vickers. You're riding with Kurt Busch. He's going to have company to his left. There's Jimmy Johnson.
I'm going to tell you what, we talked about Toyotas. There's a Toyota to the outside of Kurt Busch in his 2 car right now. It's Michael Waltrip in that 55 car, the gold and blue car there. Felt like he would run good here today. Nobody loves Daytona and Talladega probably better than Michael Waltrip.
He has an incredible feel for the restrictor plate racing. I think he went to school. He drove for Dale Earnhardt. I think he really went to the Earnhardt School of drafting. And man, does he know how to do it.
Started dead last, 43rd position. Of course, the field being set by points because of qualifying being washed out yesterday.
We said it in pre-race. Anybody can lead here. Elliott Sadler came from 27th to 5th in 1 lap and led the next one.
You know what he told me? He said, you know what? You can wreck anywhere here, and anybody can wreck here. So I might as well get to the front and take my chances. And that's a pretty familiar sight right there, pushing the Waltrip pushing an Earnhardt. We saw that way back early 2000s.
Yeah, instead of 88 and 55, just think of the 8 and the 15 when those 2 drivers were teammates at DEI. They may not lead this lap, though. Here comes Hamlin on the bottom, Junior on the top. Whoa, too close to call.
I think the fans pretty much told you who led that lap. It was that 88 car, just ever so, how about 7 1,000ths of a second he led that lap by.
Remember what I said in the pre-race, a little practice. How long did it take me to get to that line and beat that other guy?
Hamlin moves up to the outside.
They're gone.
He's got help from Sam Hornish, but let's see if Junior and Michael can get away for a bit.
Now, Michael ran the Daytona 500, came here to race. Don't know what his plans are beyond this race.
No, I don't think he does either. But when you talk about pouring the coal to it, that's what Michael's doing right now.
That
He's
old
pouring
size
the coal
14 smashing that gas right
and
now.
he wants to lead a lap.
At the top of the screen, Johnson and Logano have fallen all the way back to 23rd and 24th. That's just how quickly that draft can move you forward or move you back.
That's what I said about getting frustrated. You got a good car, you get out there, you think, oh, I got these guys. Wrong.
Look at the bottom, A.J. Allmendinger.
Here
the
they
Dinger
come.
in the 43. He's got Kyle Busch, and they do the two-car tango to the front.
I'm going to tell you what, that's the same car he had in the Daytona 500, and it was just as fast there in February. Drove from the back of the field and took the lead without the help of a lot of other cars.
This is like yo-yo racing. Now, I didn't say there were a bunch of yo-yos. I just said it's like yo-yo racing. Up and down, up and down.
32 laps complete this time by. And still 30-plus cars in that long, winding lead pack, led by two-time Daytona 500 winner Michael Waltrip for Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Denny Hamlin.
That glare coming out of Michael's car, the 55, that's in peace showing.
That's that ivory.
How about Paul Menard in that bright green car running fourth on the outside, and what a great season he's had. The last couple of races weren't too kind to him, but Menard got off to a great start in a breakout season, and he's been up near the front these whole 32 laps.
Finished second here a couple of years ago. He knows how to restrictor plate race. Another one of those guys you just don't expect to be that good on a restrictor plate track, but he is.
But just look at the fifth car in line on the high side, the 9 Budweiser car, Casey Kane, on pit road with the hood up with a bad spark plug. Here he is battling in the top 5.
On the bottom, A.J. Allmendinger, the road race veteran, could not wrest the lead from Michael Waltrip. Didn't have quite enough of a push from Kyle Busch that time.
Maybe he has 9 cylinders.
Maybe they stuck another one in there.
33 of 188 laps complete in the Aaron's 499 at Talladega.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser. Join Budweiser as we support America's troops with a $250,000 donation to the USO. You can help our efforts when you buy a Casey Kane Armed Forces die-cast car. Visit Budweiser.com for details.
37 laps complete. About that many cars still in the lead draft. The best view in the house, Brian Vickers on point with Jimmy Johnson, and on the outside lane, Dale Earnhardt Jr. with Jeff Burton, and way up high comes David Reagan leading another group.
And I know it doesn't mean a whole lot right now, but Jimmy Johnson is trying ever so hard to lead a lap. He's been looking for somebody that can get him there.
Love to get those 5
get
points.
Get those 5 points. It doesn't mean a lot, but you never know.
This is the track where Brian Vickers got that first career win a few years ago as a Hendrick car then.
I believe the guy that's following him is a guy that he nerfed into.
But Darrell, right here with Denny Hamlin, that looks like where you don't want to be, right in the middle of this lead pack.
Just trust me, Mike, when you're in the middle, it's like being in the middle of a thunderstorm. I mean, you just are shaking and cars moving, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Now back about 3 seconds behind the lead pack. This is an interesting group right here, led by Kevin Harvick, Greg Biffle, David Stremme, Jamie McMurray, and Juan Montoya, and Clint Boyer.
This group is much better now than it was before that caution, because this group led by Harvick in the 29, they're running 50, 80s, and 90s, and right now our lead pack, they're running mid 50 seconds. So they're okay the way they are right now, but they have to stay nose to tail, because that's how you'll run the fastest.
You got to be able to have a little bit of a sniff of the draft off this big pack up here to be able to run fast enough to not get in trouble. And there's a lot of turbulence coming off these race cars.
Kyle Busch would have led that lap, but Junior got a push right there from Vickers. And the 88 goes back out front.
Gotta love what you're seeing out of Junior today, Larry. He has got a fast car. He's up there trying to fight for the lead. He's worked with a lot of different people. He's looking good.
Well, he did finish second in the Daytona 500. He finished second here a year ago. It's a place that he loves, just like his dad loved.
Yep.
Let's get an update on Kyle Busch. Here's Krista.
Mike, you guys have documented that the spotters talk to their drivers so often here, one of those being Jeff Dickerson, the spotter for Kyle Busch. One of the words that Kyle likes to hear, a word you'll hear often from Jeff, is organized, telling him the middle line is organized. No, now it's the bottom line. He's used the word oftentimes already in this race. He'll continue to use it, just telling him to stay where the line is the most, again, organized.
And I used to like the term, you're in the line with the push. You're in the line that's moving, in other words. But organized, maybe they've updated that phrase a little.
Now just a few steps back from Kyle, there's Kurt Busch right in the middle in the blue number 2, leading the middle lane. Matt?
Mike, about 10 laps ago, Kurt came on the radio to his spotter, Chris Osborne, and said, the outside lane is formed up behind Dale Earnhardt Jr., but he couldn't get up. He was stuck in the middle and stalled out. He finally got himself up to the high line. Then Jr. had jumped down to the middle and the line formed behind them, but he's now up to the high line again, just trying to settle in. He got his lap lead, the bonus points, so right now he's just hunkered down and riding. Steve?
Matt, A.J. Allmendinger in the 43 right now scored in the 8th position, spent some time at the front. In practice on Friday, A.J. said his car was very stable, it was comfortable, and he was also comfortable pushing cars or pulling them, so he likes his race car.
Thanks, Steve. There's the dinger, currently 8th. And we just saw why everybody wants to run with Jeff Burton. What a power move that was by he and Kyle to blast out of the pack.
And look at the lead you get. And just, I mean, they did that coming off turn 2. Not even a whole lap yet, and they're, what, 100 yards ahead of everybody else. But, Mike, a key word between driver and spotter, the word trust. You've got to trust your spotter at Daytona and Talladega. Watch these two guys on the bottom. They dive down. And here we go.
And I mean, just look. I mean, it looks like they have 50 more horsepower than those two cars on the outside.
Well, they got 10 more miles an hour of speed. I know that when they're hooked up like that.
Well, the neat thing about that move was they had the suck off the first 2 cars, and Burton had the push off of Kyle Busch, and combined.
Car is fast, man. It's fast.
Oh, yeah, that's Kyle Busch. And that just rocketed them out in front of this field. The question is, for how long? Because now Busch needs to go to the front to cool off his engine from all that pushing.
Couple laps is all you can stay laid up against somebody like that. You'll melt the engine down.
43 laps complete this time by Kyle Busch. Going to lead this one. Maybe.
Nope.
46 laps complete in Talladega. Nobody's led more than 8 laps, and that nobody would be Dale Earnhardt Jr., who just went to the high side coming through the trial and gave up the lead to Kyle Busch, being pushed by his nemesis, arch enemy for the championship, Jimmie Johnson. But as we've said, your friends are where you find them, usually nose to tail. Let's show you what happened to Dale Jr. and did he pull up out of the lead, or was he looking for help on the high side, Darrell?
No, I think what he did was he expected to go high, stay high here, and everybody would go with him. Nobody went with him. And this is the wrong move if you're coming to the white flag. This is what you don't want to have happen, to get caught out like he is right now, because he's going to end up in about 20th spot.
Junior's fallen to 7th right now, and he's coming back.
So he'll
with
go back
Brad
to
Keselowski in the 12.
Back to the bottom. That worked better for me.
And back to the front. That quickly. Now it's time for the Aflac Do You Know Quack Trivia Quiz. Aflac pays cash fast, usually in 4 days. April 1987, Bill Elliott sets the NASCAR Cup qualifying record at Talladega, the fastest recorded lap speed at a NASCAR sanctioned event. How fast was it? Text your answer, A, B, C, or D, to 36888 and enter to win a replica helmet autographed by Carl. Log on to foxsports.com/Aflac Racing for more details.
You're talking about a track that was scary back in the day, back before restrictor plates. This place was like running a short track. You was going so fast.
Yeah, there was no angle limit on the spoiler. You just lay her back, buddy. It was almost an extension of the deck lid.
You laid it down to 10 degrees and you put as big of springs in the rear as you could to hold that 10 degrees in the air.
Brad Keselowski, in his first full season of Sprint Cup competition, young second-generation driver from Rochester Hills, Michigan, won here last April in a controversial finish, and now he leads as another second-generation driver, David Reagan from Georgia, with a push from Dale Jr., goes back to the lead.
One of the things that really makes me nervous is when the cars swing out from behind each other. You time that wrong and you clip that guy, that's what starts trouble here.
You know, Keselowski won that race in that 09 car that's being driven by Mike Bliss. Mike Bliss has been running right up there inside the top 10, driving for James Finch. He was just in front of Joey Logano in the 20 car. You'll see the red car right there in the 09.
Well, you see Kyle Busch doing a good bit of back and forth, side to side on Keselowski's bumper.
I would call that worrisome if it was me.
Yeah. Is he just trying to get the nose out to get a little clean air, Darrell, or what?
Not sure why he's wiggling around like that. That's very upsetting to the car that you're pushing.
You could see it upset that 12 car right there through the trial oval. You talked about how treacherous this trial oval really is.
That's not the way you want to do it. It's a little dangerous.
Something happened that Kyle lost his momentum, perhaps had to lift out of the gas, and when you do that here, you're apt to get freight trained.
Bottom three.
Means you're in the bottom of 3 wide. There they are, and it's Burton who pokes the nose out.
See how they jump out of line? That's the only thing you got to worry about when you jump out of line, that you don't clip the guy in front of you or that you slide over into the guy beside of you.
Now just remember that white 17 car of Matt Kenseth, he's 1 lap down, had the problem on pit road with the vent hose. They were running about 2 seconds a lap faster. They've lapped him. The good news is it's early and he's the very first car by far a lap down. Caution comes out. He gets the free pass back on the lead lap.
I think the other thing, Larry, that we're not really sure of, and I think the drivers are experimenting a little bit, is the effects of that big rear spoiler. They had no history with that spoiler on this car here. I think these drivers are experimenting quite a bit.
You know, another thing that we've not made a note of, we talked to Rick Dickert in the pre-race show, our Fox Stormwatch guy, and the one thing I picked up on his forecast has nothing to do with rain, but you're running these kind of speeds with that big rear spoiler. I've been watching these flags. We're having wind gusts 25 to 30 miles an hour. That will definitely move these cars around.
Yeah, the other thing I hadn't heard anybody talk about either, Larry, is tape. You know, nobody seems to be running hot at this point, so it looks like they got that figured out.
Now here is the lead pack. Let's talk about different agendas. It's a couple of seconds back to this foursome led by Jeff Gordon, and then even a third pack that is led by Martin Truex. Matt, what's Tony Stewart up to following Jeff Gordon right there?
Learning a lot of lessons, Mike, as the 2 Stewart-Haas cars and 2 Hendrick cars run in line. For Stewart, he was simply saying that he learned one big lesson, that the recovery not quite as easy getting back to the front in the pack where he is now to that lead pack. But he's also sent along some messages to Jeff Gordon.
Hey, Bob, before we get up here and get busy again, just tell Jeff if he can just stick his hand out, kind of tell me when he needs me to back down a little bit, when he needs me to go. It'll help me.
Based on what I know about Jeff Gordon, you don't have to tell him that. He will let you know if you're getting a little too aggressive.
And I tell you what else will be easier with this pack right here. We're going to have green flag pit stops here in about 10 to 11 laps. Those guys, I'm sure, will come to pit road together as a group.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink Possible. By McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by New Line Cinemas. Theaters everywhere, April 30th.
57 laps complete. Jeff Burton has led 9 of them, most of anybody. So how fast was Bill Elliott's Cup qualifying record set at Talladega in 1987? 212 miles per hour.
Mike, that field, every qualifier qualified over 200 miles an hour that race.
2:12.
Burton out front, the 17 of Kenseth a lap down. Kyle Busch, Casey Kane, Bobby Labonte. We've got Kevin Butler's car. Racer Crew Ventry. Right up there with him. Very successful road race team. And running top 5 here at Talladega.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, look at the 17 car. We know he's a lap down, but look where he's running. And look, just jump over a car behind him. The 9 car had a big issue. Look where he's running.
Well, there it looks like we're about 8 to 10 laps toward pit stops. 3 laps ago, everybody was single file, all nicely lined up like Mrs. Murphy's Sunday school class. And now it's on again.
But I thought that was a great strategy, and we thought they would stay that way until we got to those green flag stops. Because I'm going to tell you, other than Daytona, you're out there running 200 miles an hour, and you're trying to get to pit road and get down to 55 miles an hour. When you're in this configuration, it can be havoc, I promise you.
It's like trying to get on the off ramp, and you're in the outside lane. You got to clear a lot of cars to get to pit road, and you got to be sure you don't get run over from behind.
Sam Hornish for Roger Penske trying to lead a lap, and he's getting a lot of help from Michael Waltrip. He'll do it.
Mikey just wants to lead. That's all he wants. You know, I'm decking out, Sam. I want the lead.
But you know, as we get close to these pit stops, Darrell, you and I had the conversation about taking 4 on that caution at lap 20. This could put you in a position to take 2, but you're going to have to be there for quite a while because you're going to be dumping over 19 gallons of Sunoco race fuel. I'd say a lot of them would take 4.
I would take 4, and I'll tell you why. When you're in this kind of traffic and you're moving your car around like we see these guys doing, you got to have grip. You got to have the grip to be able to hang on to that thing. Who is that, Mike?
That's Michael Waltrip, who's backed up that whole outside line, Darrell. I don't think he got off turn 2 very well. Not sure what's happening.
Well, the car could have got out from under him, and if you have to lift any at all, you'll get run over from behind. That's a big problem. The closing rate. Remember, we talked about that. If the guy in front of you slips or lets off, you're into him.
Jeff Burton was in front in the middle of the tri-oval, but because Kyle Busch had a push from Denny Hamlin, Busch led that lap, his 4th of the race.
You know, Mike, we're not even a third of the way through this race. We have had 33 lead changes already. We could be looking at close to 100 lead changes in this 188-lap race.
Oh, I think we will, Larry. Now, I think also a lot of these guys are starting to anticipate that green flag stop. They've got to get single file. You got to sort this out before you dive on pit road, or somebody's going to get run over.
43 drivers started this race. 18 of them have led the race for at least 1 lap at the start-finish line.
Boy, those 2 cars up there on the high side. Brian Vickers in that 83 getting a push from Michael Waltrip in the 55. They got quite a run through 2 down the back straightaway.
Now, this is when the car handles the worst, Mike. You're out of fuel, not a lot of weight in the rear of the car. Tires are worn a little bit. Car starts moving a little bit more than it did earlier in the run.
I think Michael Waltrip at that 55 is going to have a lot of friends today. He's not here racing for points. He's only going to run 3 to 5 races this season. He wants to do one thing, and that's win. So if you want to win, there's a fella to hook up with.
Man knows how to draft at these super speedways.
55th anniversary for Aaron. That's why Michael has the 55th anniversary logo on his hood. Great promotion for those guys.
So Brian Vickers leads his 4th lap of the day with an assist from Waltrip. And does Denny Hamlin have a problem? Matt.
Mike, there is concern from the cockpit. Denny Hamlin has reported to his team that he might have a possible electrical issue. The volts down to 10 on the gauge. He is shutting off different parts of the electrical system as far as fans and blowers. And his last comment was, we've got to try to figure out what this issue is.
Well, it's a big issue because it happens often. Remember, he had to change a battery a couple weeks ago. Seems like they have a lot of ignition problems, battery problems.
Here comes our points leader, Jimmy Johnson, in that 48 car, getting a push by his teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88.
And Larry, I think now at the end of this run, just before pit stops, you find out who's got the best race car.
Oh, you got a lot of help. Inside only.
Freight train along the outside. Johnson with Busch pushing and a whole lot of help. David Rudiman in 3rd. And here's Hamlin with Jr. trying to come right up to them, right up to the lead.
They'll be right there when they get it. I tell you what Dale Jr. is doing. I've watched him the last 10, 15 laps. He is working on the finish of this race. He fell way back to 20th, charged back to the front. And right here, right now, he's saying, okay, where do I need to be to dive down here and win this thing? That's what he's working on.
Seeing those green flag pit stops start, you see about 8 or 9 cars on pit road. This will be a routine stop for these guys.
Steve?
Brian Vickers on pit road. The last stop, Mike, he took 4 tires. This time he's going to take just 2. They're also going to make sure that grill is clean on the 83, Matt.
And the 55 of Michael Waltrip is in as well. The 2 of Kurt Busch, 4 tires this time. Remember, they went the 2-tire route the last time. Chassis adjustment completed. Says the track getting much more slick during this stage versus the first segment.
All right, Travis Kvapil was in. Sam Hornish made a stop. Joey Logano, Scott Speed, and Bobby Labonte. Now, the second time around, a lot more takers. Robbie Gordon comes in as Kvapil goes out, and here's a big pack at the head end of pit road led by a crash. Keselowski got hit by Marcus Ambrose coming into his pit. Dick.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. pitting. He has said nothing about the behavior of the car, but he has run in the top 5 all day long. It was a 2-tire stop last time. This time it'll be 4.
I mean, you want to pit with partners because that's the way the draft works, but you prefer not to be on pit road with about 18 other race cars like we're seeing doing this lap here.
Kyle Busch comes out. That's David Rudiman just ahead of him in the 00. Jimmy Johnson scoots out from pit stall number 1. Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Sadler, Newman, Smith, Truex. No apparent damage to that 47 of Ambrose. Allmendinger's out and about a dozen more, all making pit stops under green.
I'm going to tell you,
Casey Kane's crew goes to work. And here's Steve.
Jeff Burton to the attention of the Todd Barrier team. Right side tires for Jeff Burton. Many teams taking 2 tires on this round of stops, but Burton will take 4. No other adjustments to his Chevy.
Thanks, Steve. There was damage to the right front of Brad Keselowski's car as he came out from pit road. Matt?
And the 11th, Denny Hamlin is in. A 4-tire change for him, as well as air pressure change. And Mike, you should see the cosmetic damage to that right front fender on the 12th.
Casey Kane, Paul Menard all made stops, and it'll take a while to get this field back together. Hamlin led the last lap from Burton, Menard, and Kane as they came across the line, and then Jimmy Johnson rocketed past.
They're as scattered out now as a covey of quails, but don't trust me. They'll all come back together here pretty quick.
66 complete, 122 to go at Talladega. This is NASCAR on Fox. 69 laps complete in Talladega. Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Kyle Busch has the fastest lap of the race, 48.591 seconds. And the biggest mover forward, that is, up 41 spots from where we started, is Michael Waltrip, who is our leader. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed.
Well, Darrell said it right before we went to break. It took 3 laps for us to cycle through those green flag pit stops, and cars were really strolled out all over most of the racetrack, and now you look, it's come right back together. There's the lead pack coming at you down the back straightaway. Let's take a look at the green flag pit time in 2 laps, including the pit stop and getting back up to speed. Some of the faster times that we had right there, you can see David Rubin was the quickest. Most of these guys, though, they were able to go with just 2 right side tires because they changed 4 on that first caution at lap 20.
Most drivers will tell you, Mike, there, you know this, handling is not a big issue here, but grip is. I don't care where you go, I'd still like to have me nice 4 fresh ones on there.
It's not that they'll make you run faster, but you can drive, you can maneuver the race car.
Getting these conditions like they're in, they need all the grip they can get.
Joey Logano led that lap. Regan Smith, with help from the 18, has overhauled him. And now Marcus Ambrose is in after that contact with Brad Keselowski on the earlier stop. Dick?
Well, he had a vibration in the car. They also think one of the tires might have had a hole in it. And, of course, this is going to put him way, way back and with nobody to draft with.
He will be one of 3 drivers a lap down, Matt Kenseth and Max Pappas the others. Look at the head end of pit road, and you'll see Ambrose cut right across the nose of Keselowski's car, trying to get from the outside lane into his pit, which is pit stall number 1. So a bad break for Brad.
But you pointed it out, Mike. Brad Keselowski is pitting way down pit road at pit 12. Knowing that many cars were coming to pit road, he was awfully low on pit road. You would have thought he would have been more to the outside.
Probably got forced down there somehow coming in. You know how fast you come on pit road. If you're coming in there 3 or 4 wide, you really can't pick the lane you'd like to be in. That's a bad break.
What Keselowski needs is to draft behind someone so that dented up front fender won't be stuck out in the wind.
Yeah, it won't know it if it's behind the car.
Right.
But when it's out front, I promise you, the air will know it.
28 different drivers is the record for leading this race. We've had 20 out front so far today, and we're not even halfway. Jimmy Johnson out in front of Kyle Busch, Elliott Sadler, David Rudiman, who's an honorary Alabama gang member today. More on that after the break. A big spin down into the tri-oval by last week's winner Denny Hamlin has just brought out the second caution flag of the day in Talladega. Watch the black number 11. Watch 17 and 55 bunch up, and then Logano gets bunched up, and the last car in that accordion line way back there, sorry, is Denny Hamlin. He tries to save it, and around it goes.
You know what I saw, Larry? Didn't get airborne.
No, this is true.
2 wide.
And he did it. See the cowl flaps come open. That's pressure under the hood.
Hold the brake. Hold the brake. You're on pit road.
Very nice job.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
And here from our aerial coverage.
You can see here that looks like the 55 he went up and bumped the wall. Right here, that's the 55. He went up and bumped the wall. That caused Logano to move over. And then I think that was just a chain reaction, one of those things where the guys saw something happening in front of them. Hamlin may have lifted a little bit. When you see cars in front of you starting to move around like that, Hamlin saw that. He had a chain reaction here. See him back at the back right there, and he was running up on the back of Sam Hornish's car, and he had to get on the brakes.
So the good news for Hamlin, though, no contact with the wall or any other car. Dick.
This is going to be a very fast stop for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Gas only, no tires. Steve.
Jeff Gordon took right sides the last stop. This time, just left sides. Krista.
It was 4 tires last time for Kyle Busch. This time, right sides only. Matt.
And for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, no handling issues at all. 4 tires for Elliott Sadler. They're going with a 2-tire change left side this time. Elliott said the car a little free when he's out front.
Well, obviously, anytime you get an opportunity at Talladega, you want to get in there and get fuel in the car, knowing you'll get those long green flag runs. Also, you want that weight in the back of the car, gets that spoiler out of the air.
We'll point out the dashes on the second place car. Kyle Busch is because we're not receiving telemetry data from that car. And we'll mention that David Stremme gets the free pass as we send you to Chris Myers and an AT&T race break.
And 46 lead changes in the first 50 laps. Mike, we've already had double the amount compared to lead changes that we had in the fall last year in this race. And this is some of the early bump drafting. Kurt Busch getting a little push from Ryan Newman. Harvick and Kenseth here.
Now look at that 17 car going inside around to go to almost to take the lead, pulling away from the big pack. And this is what's going on, folks. They're pushing all the way around the racetrack. Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting a big push from the 11 of Denny Hamlin and pulling away.
And Jimmy Johnson, our points leader, just kind of getting bounced around in the middle, but hanging in there. Jeff Gordon using sign language with his hands there to give a signal. But moments ago, the first incident at the speeds we've been going in the lead changes, you thought this might have happened earlier.
Yeah, it might a little bit earlier, but look at here. The 11 car gets out of shape, around it goes, but look at what happens here. The car swings back around. The roof flaps deploy. The car stays on the ground. The 11 car continues.
Everybody okay. The caution is out. other than the caution that was planned by NASCAR a little bit earlier as we watch from the Hollywood Hotel, and thanks for being with us. So what have you seen so far other than exciting racing, but it looks like everybody's holding their breath, just the littlest nudge. He was going about, what, 175 when Denny spun?
Yeah, at least that right there. Again, these guys are doing such a great job of giving and taking, and NASCAR told them, you police yourself, and so far they've done a really good job of not doing anything crazy. This is Talladega. Racing's supposed to be fast, but at the same time, I've seen some good judgment used out there so far.
Yeah, how about in terms of strategy, Jeff, and what we've seen from drivers so far? And as Mike pointed out, Mike Joy, you had a guy make up 20 spots or fall 20 spots within one lap.
It's not strategy. It's going to school. Right now, you're trying to understand what this new combination will allow you to do. We've watched the 88 car do it from the inside, from the outside, from the bottom side. He is going to school right now to try to figure out where he needs to be at the end of this race so he can possibly win it, and so is everybody else.
We saw Jeff Gordon get up near the top. He has said he's had maybe the best car a few times this year, has yet to win a race. Certainly Hendrick Motorsports, a guy who's won here 6 times, a guy keeping an eye on.
Well, you got to keep an eye on him, and I want to take it real quick. When you look back in that camera, and you can see the front end on that 88 car Dale Jr. It's about wore off where he's been pushing and shoving on everybody. But that 24 car, the last time he won a restrictor plate race was here in 2007. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's been doing a pretty good job of keeping his nose clean.
And Jeff, you want to cast your vote as we have for the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award, the standings from last week. Do it on your AT&T phone. Text the car number of the pit crew you think is the fastest to 2258. Delivered by AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Coca-Cola Zero, real Coke taste and 0 calories. By the new Schick Hydro, the only razor that's like a blast of hydration. And by FedEx, we understand you need reliable shipping options. FedEx.
With the wave arounds under this second caution of the day, that's 37 cars on the lead lap. A late and long pit stop for Mark Martin and also for Marcus Ambrose.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were doing to Martin's car there. They had the front end all jacked up and looked like they were working on the tape.
Now the wave around is what put Matt Kenseth back on the lead lap, as here's Mark's stop.
They're looks like they're either replacing the tape on the radiator inlet or actually maybe putting more on there, Matt.
Larry Mack, they usually have like small tabs to pull one piece of the tape off at a time. Unfortunately, when they went to yank the tape, it all came off. So this stop, they brought him back on pit road to add more tape back to the grill that they had taken off and didn't want to take off. For the restart, it's the Busch brothers from Las Vegas. The younger Kyle on the inside, the older Kurt on the outside. Here they come. Green flag.
And that's 2 of our guys that are going head-to-head in the DirecTV head-to-head competition.
Top 5, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Elliott Sadler, Sam Hornish, Casey Kane, Mike Bliss up in the top 10, Scott Speed and Jeff Burton. Boy, a Toyota, a Chevy, and a Ford linked up on the bottom lane.
That moving around like that behind the car in front of you, got to be careful doing that, guys.
How about an Alabama National Championship? Crank it up, Larry.
Sounds like a winner to me. Roll Tide, crank it up.
Sadler and Busch, Kurt Busch that is, Gordon and Earnhardt. And in 5th spot, David Rudiman. Elliott Sadler scored more points in the plate races than anybody else last year. Leading the line in that number 19 Ford. In 5th spot, Rudiman for a long time as David comes to the front on the outside behind Jeff Gordon. The fan favorites here were the Alabama gang. Bobby and Donnie Allison, Red Farmer, Neil Bonnet, Davey Allison. And Donnie and Bobby's brother Eddie has his name on the roof of Rudiman's car, making the Florida native today an honorary member of the Alabama gang. Looks like it's got him to the front.
Larry, you didn't set that up somehow, did you? I mean, we just cranked it up. You give me the roll tide stuff, and Rudiman takes the lead. What's going on?
He's taking the lead and pulling away a little bit, I might add. I would say this will be about like Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading the lap here at Talladega if this 00 car can make it back here to lead this lap.
And how about Bobby Labonte right there with Rudiman and coming for the lead? Labonte trying to become
trouble. Sam Hornish in the 77.
He got into
and Elliott Sadler was involved.
Menard, Stremme, and Kenseth.
Michael's going out there. He got damaged too as he went by.
The 36, the Tommy Baldwin car of Johnny Sauter, all involved in the tri-oval.
Darrell, you talked about the tri-oval. Most treacherous place around is 2.66 mile track.
If we can see what happened here. We see the yellow cars up on the outside there.
Way up high, the yellow car, that's Sauter. And around he goes.
Looks like that's
the
off
front
the
bumper of Kyle Busch.
Yep. And of course, all these other guys down here on the inside. There's a lot of cars bouncing off of each other. Matt Kenseth gets a good bit of damage.
Sauter is okay. He's put the window net down, signaling emergency crews that he's all right, and everyone else drove away.
One of the things that I didn't like about that last sequence of pit stops, fuel only, no tires. Somebody took 2, somebody took 4. Cars get a little bit off.
Look in the high lane. Michael Waltrip right behind Kyle Busch in the 55. Pow, gets it in the left front.
Boy, he did. That's a hard lick. Poor Matt Kenseth, his day was just doomed from the get-go.
One thing I'm most impressed about as you see this unfold, we have cars sideways, we have cars backwards with their tail to the wind, and we have every car firmly on the ground.
Yeah, the roof flaps now are doing their job like they used to do, keeping the car. You see, which car was that? That's the 26 maybe, or the 19 there that was around backward, and the car never did anything.
But I mean, there's no question Kyle Busch in the 18 gets into the back of Johnny Sauter in the 36, but he had Michael Waltrip in the 55 stuck up his rear bumper.
Kurt Busch also got some heavy right side damage on that one.
Yeah, he did.
There's a look at it right behind the right front wheel.
I think that's repairable. This probably not. I mean, the car took a hard shot in the outside wall. It's going to damage probably some of the
garage.
suspension parts.
Like that right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the left front looks as bad as the right, and Matt Kenseth has it on both sides of the front end of the Valvoline Ford.
Yep.
Talked to a lot of drivers this week. There's Max Pappas in the 13 car going to the garage area. You look at Matt Kenseth, comes in here second to points, knowing that this restrictor plate race can be a game changer in these points.
And you wonder why Dale Earnhardt Jr. called it the lottery? There was your answer right there. Elliott Sadler, a little bit of right side, right front damage there. Not too much. Not much at all.
Make sure you shape that fender real good at the top.
And Kyle Busch, you see the mark just below the grill on the front bumper from the contact.
Bring it to us, bring it to us.
With Sauter. Here's our Built Tough Ford track facts. Ford leads all manufacturers at Talladega with 26 Sprint Cup poles. Mark Martin in a Ford won the fastest Sprint Cup race ever held at Talladega, 188 miles an hour average speed. And the most cars involved in a single Talladega wreck was 27 back in 2003. Ford built Ford tough. Pit road's open, Dick.
David Rudiman is going to take fuel only. Joey Logano a pit in front of him. He'll do the same. Steve.
Jeff Gordon on pit road. This should be gas only. Last time they took just lefts. Gas only, Krista.
Greg Biffle going to make a right front shock change. The plan, it's staying compressed. Hard for the guys to change the tires with it down in the track. Matt.
Fuel only for the driver and car of the 48. Sunoco fuel to top him off, and a bottle of water for Johnson. No changes.
Brad Keselowski is the free pass car under this caution.
Never pass up that opportunity to get that fuel in the car. We're getting close to a 2-stop race.
So right now, the only car out of the race from this one is Johnny Sauter. Welcome back to Talladega. Here are the drivers involved in the crash, and a couple of them have gone to the garage area as a result of the damage sustained. A lot of work on pit road, and while we're under caution, time for our DirecTV head-to-head pit whip. We'll start with Matt.
Mike, number 1 seed from the turn 3 bracket, Jimmy Johnson up against this week Juan Pablo Montoya. Montoya, he advanced from last week by finishing 4 spots ahead of Brian Vickers. Johnson has a win here. JPM has a pole. Johnson, pretty much they migrated toward the setup of their teammate Jeff Gordon. They weren't as sporty as they normally were here. The car just wouldn't suck up. Now it's a very good mount. Meanwhile, the 42 of Montoya, he's been battling a tight condition primarily the entire race. Krista?
The Turn 1 region is stacked. We've been documenting the Battle of the Busch Brothers. It's going on here today. Kurt is a number 1 seed, but he has never won a plate race. Kyle, a number 4 seed, won this race in 2008. On that last stop, Kyle took fuel only and made a wedge adjustment. Who will win this battle? And more importantly, will it make things awkward at Thanksgiving? Steve?
Well, Krista, a matchup between Denny Hamlin and Carl Edwards. Hamlin, the most recent winner, hasn't had a lot of good luck here. In fact, he has 6 finishes worse than 21st in 2 of his last 3 races, 38th and 39. He has led laps here, ironically, in every event he's been in. Carl Edwards, on the other hand, 11 Talladega starts, just 1 top 5 finish. He hasn't had a top 10 since 2006. Now, the 99 car has been concerned about a vibration. They don't know why. They've tightened every bolt on that car since Friday, but they cannot figure it out. And also, the 99 missed his pit stall 1 time here today. Dick?
Interesting matchup between young Joey Logano and Mark Martin. They started nose to tail with Mark in the 10th position and Logano in the 12th. That is where the similarities end. Logano, the youngest driver in today's race, age 19. Martin, the oldest driver at age 51. For Logano last year, this was his best track, finishing 3rd and 9th in Cup competition and 3rd in the Nationwide Series. He has run in the top 20 all day long. Mark Martin doesn't like this place at all. He skipped racing here 2 years in order to avoid it. He just did not have the best of fuel mileage today. A long stop just a little while ago to work on the nose tape sent him all the way back to 37th.
87 laps complete. Bobby Labonte's crew over the wall too soon, a penalty there, and also one for the 38 of Kevin Conway. To check on the status of your DirecTV head-to-head bracket, visit directv.com/NASCAR. Travis Kvapil became the 24th different leader of this race under caution. We've had 53 lead changes. The restrictor plate record set here October of 2008 is 64. The all-time NASCAR record for lead changes set here in May of 1984 at 75. And I'd say that's in jeopardy today.
That sure looks that way. Since some exciting racing so far.
Jimmy Johnson, David Rudiman for the lead. Green flag. Johnson breaks out just a little bit.
Rudiman's got to feel a little bit like the odd man there. You got the Gordon down underneath him, pushing him. Johnson in the 48 car there, and Dale Jr. 88, teammates to the 24. Looks like that 00 Alabama car.
With the wave around and the free pass to Keselowski, there are 33 cars on the lead lap.
Getting a pretty nice shove here, Larry.
Getting a real good shove from that 24 car of Jeff Gordon.
David Rudiman grew up in Florida. His dad, Buzzy, a dirt track Hall of Fame modified racer, and still competes. Buzzy's sponsor these days, well, that would be David.
That's right.
The engines and the tires and
my favorite
build the
thing
cars.
My favorite thing that David told his dad, Buzzy, he and Brian Patty were building Buzzy a new modified, and Buzzy was getting a little impatient. He said, "Dad, we build fast cars. We don't build cars fast."
Well, he better enjoy this lead while he can, because those 2 guys on the high side, Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 88, Jimmy Johnson, the 48, they are a coming.
Jimmy Johnson looks to tuck in
still pushing
behind Jeff Gordon in front of Tony Stewart. And we picked up some interesting conversation during the caution flag from Johnson's team about who to draft with.
There's nobody, and I mean nobody, that can stay up there consistently. You know, the 11 car, he's fast, he falls back. The 18, he falls back. The 88, all of them. There's nobody that has stayed up there consistently. Now, one thing I will say is the 55, you know, once again, he's a pretty good drafter. He does a good job of getting locked onto people. You might want to keep that in mind towards the end of the race.
Yeah, that 00, it's amazing how fast he can push a car. I guess I've had the 18 on me, but the 00 has probably been the best I felt so far.
Come for it. Doing a great job, buddy. Give those belts a tug. Make sure you're getting something to drink, man.
Now that was recorded during the previous caution before Michael Waltrip was just involved in this most recent incident. I'm surprised the 31 wasn't mentioned, because Jeff Burton is for several cars, including himself up front, and he's one of the drivers who's led a lot of laps here today.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to be able to use the 55 for any drafting help today, Dick.
No, indeed they're not. But Michael Waltrip, you had a terrific run there today, leading some laps for a part-time guy. Did you have fun out there?
I had a blast. And you know, Dick, I'm retired, so I can think what I want. And honestly, one time I looked up and it was me and Dale Jr. in the front, and I thought, this feels great. I hope the fans were enjoying it, and the car was fast. Kyle just messed up. He ran into a guy and crashed him. And, you know, when you set yourself to the standards as he does, you know, he's really good, and he'll tell you about it, whether it's a tear-off or a caution flag. When you set yourself to those standards and then you make a mistake like that in front of the field, that's kind of disappointing.
Nice job today for you behind the wheel.
Kyle Busch ran into Johnny Sauter to cause that crash. Sauter's car's in the garage. Johnny was checked at the care center and released. He is okay.
Oh, by the way, Michael will not see Kyle next weekend when we get to Richmond, because Michael won't be racing.
You know, a couple of cars, as we're down now under 100 laps to go, which is still a long ways, they were elected to lay at the back of the pack, but I'm seeing them up in the thick of things now. One of them is that bright green car in the middle, Mark Martin in the 5. The other is Greg Biffle in the 16 car, right up there in the middle of this group now.
Now, this pack is a lot bigger than it was just before the caution flag, because the drifters, the fellows who drifted back out of the lead draft, there's only 7 of them now, so everyone else is up here in the lead draft.
And where did the tandem of the 24 and the 00 go?
Back to 10th and 17th.
So you lead for a while, and then you fall back and see how long it takes you to get back to the lead.
Now we're seeing Greg Biffle in the 16 car. He's pushing Casey Kane in that 9. Remember, the first caution, the 9 team led by Kenny Francis, they changed the spark plug, and they're going to lead this race now.
Casey Kane becomes the 25th different leader of the Aaron's 499. 95 laps to go. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Toyota.
96 laps complete. It's just as exciting as the first 5, the last 5. Look at Logano on the bottom trying to help Regan Smith up toward the front. Casey Kane continues to lead from Greg Biffle. And as this race winds down, it becomes a question of strategy, how to position yourself in the right place at the right time and with the right tools to get to victory lane. Let's hear first from Jeff Gordon and Steve Letarte.
Even if we give up some track position, I mean, I don't think it's going to matter. But I think you're going to want your car to drive pretty good with these guys pushing you hard.
Yeah, 10-4. 10-4. Yeah, my plan is going to be anytime we have a yellow to put your 4 on it later in the race. On the green, I only put rights on it just because if we have any sort of problem or mistake, we're still going to be in the pack.
I like that plan. That plan is perfect. That's all I'm saying is that if we get a caution at the right time, you know, and we have an opportunity to take 4, if we give up track position, let's do it.
Now, you might think this question's ridiculous, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What do you think about the 4 tires versus no tires versus 2 tires as the race goes on?
Tires don't mean nothing to me.
Short and simple. His answer wasn't near as long as Jeff Gordon's answer.
There's the 2 sides to that coin.
Gotta love that.
Casey Kane leading this race in a Richard Petty Motorsports Ford, the Gillette family, majority owners of that team. And Kane announced recently that he'll be leaving at the end of the season, but that's not what's on his mind right now. It's how to win this race. Dick Berggren's in his pit.
And he's finished second twice. Kenny Francis is his crew chief. What is your strategy for the end of the event?
Well, the Budweiser 4 has been running really good, but right now the strategy is just to make it to the end. There's still a long way to go. And you just got to try to have your car in one piece when you get down there to the end, and then it's just going to be about who you get with. And you know, I'd say down at the end it's going to be, you know, more about track position and try to keep up front. But with the way the passing and stuff is with this spoiler package, it's you know, you can go from first to last pretty quick. So I think it's going to be about who you get with, and if you can work together good and make your way up there. So, you know, hopefully we can survive, and hopefully keep running like we are.
Good luck. Krista Boda.
And the guy pushing him right now, Greg Biffle with Greg Irwin, his crew chief. I know you guys have an issue with the right front with the shock. You made the decision not to change it on that last stop. Why?
Just the way the race looks like it's going to play out, we're going to be okay either taking gas or right sides more than likely from here on out. But 3M Fusion gets up front there and runs pretty good. Tribute to everybody at Roush Yates Engines.
Regan Smith blowing up in the front straightaway. A lot of smoke. He gets down off the track apron. We stay green for the moment, but a very tense moment for a lot of drivers in the middle of the lead pack.
I think we're going to have a caution, guys. Oh,
there it is.
Yeah, we got it.
Sorry about that, bud. Good job.
Regan Smith had a strong run today and was leading this race at one point. And now he has brought out the fourth caution of the day. Drivers, fans, and race cars all trying to keep their cool at Talladega today. Let's go down to the nationwide pit zones. Jeff Hammond.
Mike, today during this, I mean, really fast, spectacular race, we're seeing two cars get hooked up and push one another around this 2.66 mile racetrack. And the way they're able to do that is running a certain amount of tape to keep the engine cool, but you've also got to have the right radiator package. You see here, we've got two different examples of what we have inside these Roush Fenway Fords. You can see this type, where this radiator's been right at Daytona, a little bit older style. Here's one of the more newer styles they're running. These radiators can cost all the way up to $12,000 or $15,000. The main thing is keep the engines cool. We've seen Mark Martin come to pit road to add tape because he lost it. It's so important to keep your car aerodynamically as slick as possible, and these radiators, no matter what kind of configuration you're running, are making it possible today at Talladega.
You know, we talk so much about tape on the nose, and from an aero standpoint, that tape on those inlets on the front end, it's like a free lunch. It creates more front downforce, pressure on the front wheels, gripping the racetrack, but the biggest thing here, it reduces the drag, really helps the straightaway speed, so you get as aggressive with tape as you can, and one reason you can is how efficient the radiators are.
Look who's leading this race. Back at lap 77, Denny Hamlin spun coming through the tri-oval. They cleaned out the splitter and the air inlet in the front that Jeff just told us is so important. Got Hamlin back on track. Could he win 2 races in 1 week? We'll see.
Well, this is a spin you were talking about at lap 76. Coming off of turn 4, they started stacking up in front of him after Michael Waltrip hit the wall.
Back here he comes.
And boy, just barely in front of Robbie Gordon, the 7, Keselowski in the 12. But he also has fought his way since that last restart. He came in and topped off, Mike, and they made more adjustments. He started back about 31st or 32nd on that last restart about 13 laps ago.
You know why he's leading the race? He got a fast car. The guy behind him.
David Rudeman.
Rudeman hooked up with him and really gave him a shove.
We heard Jimmy Johnson say the 00 is one of the best pushers out here.
You got it.
Pit road is open. Hamlin leads them down. You see Ambrose going past. He's the free pass car. Here's Dick.
David Rudeman will take 2 tires on this pit stop. Their principal goal today, finish. They've had 3 engine failures this year, which has put them back in the points. Steve.
Dick Brian Vickers had a clean entry, lap cars in front of him and behind him. This time they're going to take 4 tires. Ryan Pemberton said they can make it on 1 more stop, Krista.
The front carrier, Colin Passey's the one who's been earning his money today. He doesn't have to worry about the compressed car this time because it's fuel only for Biffle. Matt?
Right side tires for Denny Hamlin in the 11, chassis adjustment as well. On the previous stop, they made 3 different stops. On one of those, they changed the batteries, so they've already got a backup battery in that 11 machine.
lot of gamblers on this round of pit stops, and some drivers that stayed out, led by Mark Martin and Carl Edwards.
They are coming to pit road. It's too early to get to the front just yet.
We'll see.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Eyeballs glued to the Fox network this afternoon, and following the race on NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile, which you can check out at sprint.com/speed. Jimmy Johnson, our unofficial point leader, as of the moment, 70 points ahead of Greg Biffle, who is the race leader right now. Talladega always draws a huge crowd. Is it for the fantastic finishes? Is it for the big one? Or is it just for the excitement of it all?
I think it's all the above, Mike. It's just the anticipation of what's going to happen here every time we come.
Two places in Alabama draws big crowds, Talladega and Tuscaloosa.
Now today is a doubleheader because the nationwide race was rained out yesterday. They'll have 811 miles of racing at Talladega today. They'll run that race at 4:30 this afternoon. AT&T race break. Chris Myers.
All right, Mike, we're 1 leader away from tying the all-time record, 27 leaders so far. One of those, and that's why the crowd was up earlier that you were talking about, the big crowd, because Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led 8 laps in this race. And among the 64 lead changes, talked about Denny Hamlin getting back to the front. This was on lap 76. He was okay, fell to the back of the pack, worked his way back up, but then moments ago, lap 84, 8 cars involved, triggered, at least according to Michael Waltrip, by Kyle Busch. Johnny Sauter brings out the caution. Kurt Busch involved, Matt Kenseth, Elliott Sadler. Some of the guys caught up in that 8-car mishap, and now we're inside of 84 laps to go after another caution as Matt Kenseth's car is under repair. He's had a rough day, Jeff Hammond. But what about the strategy at this point?
No, we've been listening to it. I think Larry and Darrell have been talking about how you can hear the crews right now trying to make decisions. 2 tires, no tires. Where do we need to be? It's slowly but surely, Chris. We talk about 450 miles of this race is learning. The final 50 laps or 50 miles of it, you've got to be in position. It's all about making the right decision and having the right decisions made. So this final pit stop, which is right around the corner, that's when that basically the die will be cast, you might say.
I was intrigued by the radio communication about which car is the one you want to team up with, and there were just a few drivers. Some of those were altered. Is that something drivers are still looking for, crew chiefs?
Yeah, you want to find out right now who's been kind of like playing around, who really has the strongest ride out there. I mean, I found it very interesting that right now David Rudiman has been tapped as one of the fastest cars in this pack right now. So getting hooked up with him, taking a Dale Jr. or Jimmy Johnson, who both have a very fast car, it's going to be interesting, Chris. How do you get together with this guy?
Your fastest pit crew, if you want to vote, text it to AT&T, and our fastest pit crew of the year award. Jeff will have his delivered by AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. Greg Biffle, our leader in that. Mike, is your AT&T race break.
Thanks, Chris. 33 cars on the lead lap. Biffle and Hamlin will restart on the front row. Rudiman and Allmendinger, Reagan and Burton, Kane and Logano, Kyle Busch, and Mike Blish, your top 10 with Jimmy Johnson 11th. Green flag.
And all those cars that stayed out the first time, like Mark Martin, Clint Boyer, Carl Edwards, all of them came to pit road the next lap. But it is a one-stop race now from here.
The one thing that worries me a little about Rudiman, I know he's fast, he's got a fast race car, but I have not seen him play around much. He's been at the front of the field all day long. He hadn't really experimented on how long does it take me to get to the front if I get shuffled out. Got some good shots here. Look at Tony. See, Tony, he likes his steering wheel with the spoke straight up like that, so he can kind of use that as his sight, if you will. You look over at Denny Hamlin, he's got his more at the 9 and 3 position, so he can put his hands on the steering wheel like he likes it. So every driver, when you look in the driver's compartment, don't just look at the guys sitting there. Look at the things that they're doing. It tells you a lot about their cars and how they prepare themselves. And see how nice and gentle they turn on the wheel. You don't jerk the wheel here unless somebody bumps the heck out of you. You got to be smooth. The more you turn the wheel, the slower you go.
2-car breakaway, Hamlin and Rudiman at the front. Biffle and Allmendinger and Burton leading that outside lane.
You know, one thing I do want to say, going back to what brought that last caution out of Regan Smith in the 78 car, just remember that is a Hendrick engine. And I know a lot of times when you lose one Hendrick engine, it makes them a little nervous about the others.
Riding along with Carl Edwards. And we listened in a bit to the 31st place car.
A couple of those guys that have been riding are going to go racing. The one in the 42, the 29, and some of those guys want to hang out still. So do we have a plan, or are you just going to wing it here? Just going to wing it. 10-4. Yeah, just wing it smart.
You know, when the Aflac car says we're going to wing it, you got to wonder what kind of strategy that is.
I only can remember a year ago, Carl Edwards rode back there about 30th to 35th for 170 laps, and on lap 187 3/4 ended up in the grandstand almost.
Yeah, he was winging it then, I can tell you.
Tell you what, I know who's winging it right now. Those two Gibbs cars, Joey Logano in the 20, Kyle Busch in the 18. I watched them through 3 and 4, and down the front stretch, they were hooked up, and they just drove by their teammate Denny Hamlin in the 11.
Watch what happens on the inside line, because Jeff Burton has been one of the quicker cars drafting. In fact, nobody's led more than 10 laps today except Jeff Burton and Jimmy Johnson.
Seems like the Toyotas are pretty strong today when you look at how the guys have been running up front. Got 4 of them there right now.
But Ruderman into 00 jumps up top, gets some push from Jeff Burton in that 31 car.
Ruderman's got more friends today, and I think he's had in a long time.
I think everybody's realizing
everybody likes
he's a good pusher.
Ruderman.
David Ruderman has 1 Sprint Cup win. The rain shortened Coke 600 last May at Charlotte.
I know it's early, but that was interesting. Joey Logano in the 20 car saw Ruderman in the 00 coming, jumped up to the high side, left his teammate Kyle Busch in the 18 down low. Kyle gets in 4th right there.
You watch Joey Logano race that number 20, and it's hard to believe that he is just 1 season and 9 races into his Sprint Cup career. He shows a lot of poise.
He's only 19 years old, for heaven's sake. He's a young kid with a huge future ahead of him.
Jeff Burton back to the front, no surprise. And Kyle Busch along for the ride.
And his wingman, 00, got caught in the middle, and he went sliding to the back.
This little bottom line was getting interesting there. We're looking back at Joey Logano in the 20, but you see Brian Vickers in that Red Bull 83 car getting a push from Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88. Here they come on the bottom.
That's another car that's been up front and knows how to win here, is that Vickers car, the 83.
Vickers responsible for one of those last lap pass wins. He did it on his teammate Jimmy Johnson when he was at Hendrick.
And I think that little 88 car was involved as well. Dale Earnhardt Jr., I think he was a part of it when that all happened there on the back straightaway.
It's a good little drag race right here now.
78 laps to go. Steve Burns on our leader, Vickers.
Mike, not too long ago, Brian Vickers said to Ryan Pemberton, we just need to find one guy that will work with us the whole race. We can go to the front anytime we want, and he's found that guy.
Pass this along to him, Steve. There's about 30 others that could do the same thing.
Yeah, and they all think maybe that 88 is that one good guy.
That'd be a good one, I can tell you that.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by AMP Energy. Go to ampupthe88.com this Wednesday, April 28th, to chat live with Kelly Earnhardt. By DirecTV, no one offers as much DVR storage as DirecTV. And by Nationwide Insurance. Call or visit us online for a quote today.
Enter the Nationwide Insurance Code Spotter Sweepstakes for a chance to win a custom Roush Mustang at codespotter.com. A.J. Allmendinger and Kyle Busch lead this race, but Darrell, you were noticing during the break something interesting going on back there at 18th position with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
He is the only guy, Mike, and I know I've pointed out a couple of times, but he consistently falls to the back, picks up someone, and pushes his way back to the front. Again, just working on his move for late in the race.
A.J. Allmendinger, the former open wheel star in kart, veteran road racer, came from a working class background. His parents funded his go-kart racing, and then he had to make his own way, and he did it all the way to the top of open wheel road racing, and then came to NASCAR, drove part of a season for no pay. They said, we can either pay you or put a car under you. He said, I want to race. And now he's in third in Richard Petty's number 43 as Jimmy Johnson and Greg Biffle try to blast to the front on the bottom.
And I'd say they will blast to the front. Two cars hooked up together coming out of turn 4 down this front straightaway. Watch them get the run. Hamlin looks like he wants to go down there and join him in that 11 car.
And just remember, folks, as the sand in the hourglass starts to run out, tension and excitement and anticipation is going to pick up.
Now, two cars in that outside line I want to make note of. Juan Pablo Montoya in that 42 car right there, the 4th car in line on the high side. Remember, he stayed at the back of the pack almost its entire first half of the race. We're riding with him. But a car right behind him, Elliott Slater in a 19 car, he was involved in that wreck on the 3rd caution lap, 83. Here he's back to the top 10, almost to the top 6, looking back at him right there.
And Larry, I don't know what the trends show, but I got a feeling when I see people like Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, and some of the more experienced drivers kind of laying way back, they might think something's getting ready to happen.
Well, the inside line happened out of turn 4. Allmendinger dragged Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, and Montoya past Jimmy Johnson on the outside, like Johnson was stopped that time.
You know, one thing we see a lot in these races at Talladega is at some point in time, everybody kind of cools out. They kind of get their second win, if you will. I have not seen that today. The racing has been intense from the get-go.
Jeff Burton has led more than 10 laps today. I believe the only driver to do so. But Steve, is there a problem with the 31?
Might be, Mike. He's been in the top 10 all day. We just got the word that the 31 has developed a vibration.
You know, that's not the first time we've heard of a car having a vibration today. You know, Steve Burns talked about Carl Edwards in the 99. He's had a vibration almost ever since he unloaded the car on Friday.
Yeah, on Carl's side, I just say, Carl, you got what you got. We tried to fix it, can't. But now on the 31 side with Burton, that's a whole different story.
The other driver to lead more than 10 laps is Kyle Busch. He's led 13 and right now patiently sits in second. 4 lead changes away from the all-time record. And we still have 70 laps to go in Talladega. "67 laps to go." We're seeing something we've only seen 1 lap before. During the 121 laps of this race so far, Darrell, everybody's lined up single file.
Mike, there is some point in a Talladega race that you've got to get your composure. You got to get your heart rate down. You got to take some deep breaths. You got to know that I've been working. Now I'm going to implement my strategy when the time comes. This is just the quiet before the storm. That's all this is.
Larry, you can come from anywhere in this pack. Why aren't the drivers from 20th on back trying to move forward?
Well, we know we've got another pit stop, possibly the final pit stop coming here in about 20 laps. And you know then that that's got to be the money stop. That may be the only time you get to go back to pit road here in the last part of this race.
But Darrell, let's say you're Martin Truex in 20th, or Kurt Busch, Sam Hornish, Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon in that 20th to 25th. Are you concerned about where you are right now? That big pack's not going to get away, but you don't really have good track position.
No, and if just take Jeff Gordon, he's in good company. He's back there with Mark Martin. But here's the thing. The cream rises to the top, too. And these cars that are up here right now in the front of this field are the guys that have been up there all day long. So maybe you do have a pretty good car, but you're not going to go anywhere by yourself. You got to have some help if you're back there in 15th, 20th place.
Jeff Gordon's position right now matches his car number, 24th. Steve Burns, is that a concern?
With his crew chief, Steve Letarte. And Steve, you guys have employed a lot of different strategies. 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires. How good is your car, and how does it play out for the rest of this race?
I think the DuPont Chevrolet is pretty good. You know, when you have your track position, we're trying to keep it, stay to the front. When we were in the back, we just put 4 tires on it and try to stay kind of conservative. I think tires do matter. You know, I think when you see those bump drafts through the trial, I think the 36 was a cause. If, you know, maybe a little bit newer tires, he might have been able to hold on to it, but we'll have to see.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thanks.
I like the way he thinks. 4 tires is good. I don't care where you are. And here, even though I know we say handling's not a factor, all tires are not a factor, all those things together are huge factors.
All right, let's go to the other end of pit road. 27th place, Jamie McMurray in 28th place, Kevin Harvick. Here's Matt.
Mike, the two Daytona 500 champions have been conversing back and forth via the spotters working on their game plan. McMurray wanted to know when Harvick had planned on really pushing the button and getting aggressive and making his move to the front. Harvick's response was, with about 50 laps to go, that's when both of them plan on hitting the button and making their move to the front. So they're going to ride right now at this juncture until they can go ahead and go forward with their game plan.
All right, that's about 14 laps from now.
One thing you got to be careful of, though, if you fall back like they are right now and you get to racing each other like they are right now, that lead pack could break away and leave you.
Well, this should be a good test right here because Mark Martin has taken his group of cars double file in the second pack. Can they catch the lead pack? We'll find out after this.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Verizon Wireless. Big racing fan? Get Verizon Championship Racing for race highlights, behind the scenes, and exclusive interviews right on your VCAS phone. From the network with the most 3G coverage, Verizon.
60 laps complete in Talladega. When we went to break, we wondered if that Mark Martin line would lose ground or gain. They picked up Denny Hamlin and went all the way to the front of the pack. Now, Jeff Gordon, who drifted back from Mark, has picked up Dale Jr. coming right up the middle.
Yeah, they kind of spit their teammate Jeff Gordon in the 24 out that first time a couple laps ago. Then he found Dale Jr. in the 88, and here they come on the bottom.
Still got to be pretty impressed with that 11 car, Larry. Hamlin, even when they're coming, he cut in front of them, slowed them down, and jumped right back to the lead. Hamlin did.
Show you how that happened from our aerial coverage.
Here comes the 48 of Johnson and the 88 of Earnhardt. They go right by Jeff Gordon there in the 24. Now watch Hamlin. He says, uh-oh. Spotter said inside. They got to push. Jump down there.
He may not be a Hendrick Chevrolet driver, but that looked like the group that was moving.
He knew to break their momentum, and that's what he did, and that didn't hurt him. Put him right back in the lead.
On the way to break, we saw that hat on the track. The hat on the track did not belong to the cat in the hat. Page Dr. Seuss, please.
Yes, I see the hat. I'm glad I see the cat because I was a little worried.
One more time, we should have at least one more pit stop, and those green flag pit stops, should we not have a caution, should come within about 12, 13 laps from now as the two Joe Gibbs cars hook up. Kyle Busch in the 18, getting the push from Joey Logano in the 20, and there's Hamlin in the 11. We've seen those Joe Gibbs cars, plus 5 Toyotas at the front of the pack.
Toyota just seems to have a little bit of steam today. They're able to lead and take the lead pretty easily amongst that group that you see at the front right now.
At least 2 Fords right behind them, Allmendinger and Biffle. So it looks like a little bit of teaming up is going on here. 58 laps to go still.
Yeah, only one Chevrolet in the top 10 right now, and that's Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42 car up there in the 8th spot.
I know Junior's got a pretty fast car. He's been able to work to the front most every time. The guy I'm a little concerned about is that guy there on the 24 car. He seems to be able to not keep up. Seems like when they get him up there, he falls back. That's Gordon down on the inside there in the 24. I think he and Johnson are trying to work together in the 48.
And they have been several times today, Darrell. Remember in pre-race the harsh words they had for each other in Texas? That's all forgotten now. There's 3 of the 4 Hendrick cars lined up nose to tail working together.
Well, we're getting it. Larry, you can tell. You can just tell that we're running out of laps. I mean, this is starting to shape back up like we saw the start of this race. Everybody now is going to start showing what they got.
Junior and Hamlin up the middle, and that's a very crowded lane right there with Bobby Labonte and Casey Kane in front of them. David Reagan in the mix.
Mike, we've got the top 27, 28 race cars running less than 2 seconds from each other right now with 56 laps to go.
You know, you talked about Juan Pablo. He's been right around at the back this whole race. He doesn't know, and nobody really knows what he's got. That's the problem with staying around the back and not being up at the front. You don't know who you want to work with, who you can work with. I know one thing, it's getting pretty crowded.
Here comes Big Daddy in that 24 car. Jeff Gordon getting a push from his teammate Jimmy Johnson in the 48. Don't know if he'll lead this lap. Looks like that outside line has the run.
He's such a sly old dog, you know. He just lays around. You think, oh, he doesn't have anything for him today. And then, but here he is, back to the front.
The top 10, 5 Chevys, 3 Toyotas, 2 Fords. How quickly things change. Larry, when's that stop going to come? We've got 55 laps to go.
It should happen at about lap 142 to 145, right in there, which again is going to be about 10 laps from now.
I'm really getting worried about the way these guys are bottling up getting into 3. We've seen that be a problem area before. Get 3 and 4 wide getting in there. Something's got to give.
And how about Bobby Labonte in that 71 car on the bottom right there? You see him working his way. Remember, had that penalty early for his crew going over the wall too soon.
Labonte's overcome that. He's got Jimmy Johnson behind him, Jeff Burton, Elliott Sadler, Casey Kane, and Mark Martin in the bottom lane.
There's a car up there in the front as well, the 6 car down on the bottom, David Reagan. We haven't talked a lot about him today. He won a nationwide wide race here last year by being in 6th place on the last lap. Whoa.
Oh, boy. Reagan got a little bit of a shot there from Jimmy Johnson as Johnson slewed sideways to change lanes and was connected to Jeff Burton.
And this is what's bothering me, Mike. I'm seeing this more and more and more. Everybody's starting to get a little bit more aggressive, pushing and shoving and hitting a little harder than they have been all day long.
And guys, I talked about him early. The 5th car in line on the high side, Mike Bliss in the 09 car. Remember, that's the team that won this race a year ago with Brad Keselowski.
Every driver wants to be as far to the front as possible when they peel off to make that green flag pit stop, so that in case of a bobble on pit road, they won't lose too much track position. That's what the infighting is going on right now.
And I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be big with these guys coming to pit road under green when you look at the wad of cars we got there right now in that lead pack.
$53 laps and at least 1 pit stop to go. Who's going to win at Talladega? Wow. Hey, here's a fellow who thinks that is Jack Roush's hat. Oof. Dale Jr. With 50 laps to go, Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Biggest mover in this race, up 30 spots from where he started, Mike Bliss. The field was set by championship points. Denny Hamlin has the fastest speed of this race, 197.4 miles per hour. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, sprint.com/speed.
It's like head-to-head, Mike. Everybody's starting to find their pairings. Find a buddy. That 29 car, he came from back here in the back all day long. He's a fast car, and he's pushing Hamlin pretty good. Push, push, push. Look at that cowl flap, Larry. That's pressure under the hood. Cowl flap flapping open there. See that thing right in here, folks. That's pressure under the hood. I haven't seen that down here like that, like we have this time. Has to have something to do with a spoiler.
But Darrell, when I look at Kevin Harvick, this 29 car, he's made up 25 spots since that last restart. But I think this jives with what Matt Yoakum was talking about. These guys that had been hanging out at the back, they wanted to make their move before we get to those green flag pit stops where they could be in a good position then.
We have tied the NASCAR Sprint Cup record for lead changes in one race, 75. And those are just the lead changes at the start-finish line. Denny Hamlin out front and Kevin Harvick trying to get the lead. For not the first time today. Dale Jr. all by himself went down to the bottom, and the Pied Piper picked up a couple. And he's trying to bring that most inside lane to the front with Jamie McMurray and Clint Bowyer.
2 other drivers that's been hanging out at the back all day long. McMurray, the winner here in the fall, the winner of the Daytona 500 in the 1 car, and then Bowyer in that 33, just like his teammate Harvick in the 29. They've been at the back the entire race.
I like what Jeff Burton said in our pre-race show. Sure like to have a heart monitor on some of these guys right now, because I'm going to tell you, she's racing.
How high does a heart monitor go up?
2 something, as far as I know.
Biffle and Johnson from the middle lane pick up Keselowski. And let's check on our leader, Matt.
Curtis Markham, Hamlin spotter, just alerted him that the 29 of Harvick was checking up just a little bit to get a little more air into his car. It was running hot. Not to think that Harvick was maybe setting Hamlin up to make a move and dump him and go for the lead. So right now they're just riding until the pit stop.
No, and that's another thing, Larry, I was talking about. You ride at the back. Now you get up here with the good guys. Uh-oh, too much tape, running hot. That's something you got to find out before the end of this thing.
Now from the pits, we've learned that green flag pit stops should begin in about 2 laps.
Well, the window will open then. You can go a little further than that, but that's when that window opens that will get you to the end of this 188-lap race.
David Reagan from Unadilla, Georgia, goes to the front. Many have felt that among the 4-car Roush team that Reagan's was the most in need of improvement this year, but he has run enough out front today, a race where he's won in the Nationwide Series, to be a strong contender this afternoon.
Well, I think we'll all agree this is a fish or cut bait year for David Reagan in that 6 car.
It's also a fish or cut bait moment too, because he's sitting there with a bunch of hungry hounds right behind him.
There's the record, 76 lead changes today. Denny Hamlin back to the front with Kevin Harvick.
Harv's in trouble.
And
Down on the
Logano
bottom.
back a little further. Logano is stacking them up toward the back of the field.
Yeah, it happened going through turn 1 and 2. In fact, the 1 car, McMurray, just about ran over him over there going through 1 and 2.
Most likely a little too much bump drafting got him a little sideways and they had to check up.
They may be setting up to come to pit road this time, possibly. We might see that group hitting pit road.
Carrying too much speed right here, but perhaps getting himself into position and wanting to be on the bottom for when he makes that stop.
I believe the 20, I think he got a little too much bump drafting and it got him loose and they had to check up. As I said earlier, when you get to this point right before pit stops, this is when your car is the hardest to drive. You're out of grip, you're low on fuel, the back of the car is light, there's no fuel back here to hold it down. They move around a whole lot more right here before pit stops.
Denny Hamlin continues to pull them around with Reagan in second.
A lot of times, Mike, this is when you start to say to yourself, I'm not as good as I thought I was. You know, I thought I had a pretty good car, but all of a sudden, the intensity is picked up, and now I'm not so sure.
145 complete, 43 laps to go.
We're coming. We're not coming this time, right? Next time, not this time.
Next lap or 2, we'll see takers on pit road for sure.
But that's where you really have to make your driver understand, and you can't tell him going into turn 3. He needs to know a lap or 2 ahead when he's coming to pit road.
I always like to hear pit next time by. Don't leave any doubt in my mind. Just tell me next time by.
How about David Reagan? He may be saying lead next time by as he drops to the bottom. Nope, he's coming to the pits.
And he is bringing a bunch of them with him.
Whoa. Man, Junior just about got into the back of Greg Biffle.
Now you're supposed to enter pit road single file. That won't be possible.
Look what happened to Casey Kane in the 9. Dick, he couldn't get on the pit road.
Well, we've seen this before. We saw it last week. Junior heard pit next time by, Darrell. It's what he wanted him to hear just a few moments ago on his radio. 2 tires for Junior. Krista.
Greg Biffle is in on the last stop. The 16 took fuel only. This time they are working around on the right side. A slight chassis adjustment for the 16 on this stop. Matt.
And the 48 of Jimmy Johnson expected to go right side tires only, topping him off with Sunoco fuel. Waiting on the fuel. Catch cameraman says we are good to go. He's away.
You have to wait on that fuel because this could be your last stop of the day.
I'm telling you, that's why I would take 4 tires. When I got to fill that thing up with fuel, he sat there long enough to get 2 more tires.
Absolutely. It may cost you another second or 2. You'll pull right back up.
And here comes everyone else to pit road this time by.
So we've had our full cycle of green flag pit stops within 2 laps, Dick.
And David Rudiman is in. He has had a terrific run. He has run up front all day. A good pitcher and good being pushed. Steve.
Dick, Steve Letarte gave Jeff Gordon the option of running an extra lap. Right sides for Jeff Gordon. Krista?
Yeah, 4 tire stop for Kyle Busch, 4 tires for the 18, Matt.
His teammate, the 11, Mike Ford's call, 4 tires for Denny Hamlin. No chassis adjustment. Meanwhile, Tony Stewart is already away. He went 2 tires only.
Big land rush off pit road. coming out of their pits. Near contact between Rudeman and Logano. Didn't see a mark on either car, but it was close.
But to Darrell's point, the 18 and 11 took 4, and they came out with everyone that took 2.
Exactly.
Penalties. Too fast exiting. Robbie Gordon, Kurt Busch.
And that's penalties this late in the race that'll take you right out of the picture.
Can't overcome that.
On the first group to come to pit road, watch the 9 of Casey Kane. He ducks out of the around the outside of the 19.
Oh, here he's back up here. I'm sorry.
There he is.
Here he is.
Comes around Sadler. Now comes to the inside. Figures not going to make the commit cone. We're going to stay out. But he's lost all his speed.
Yeah, I just don't think he could get slowed down and make the commitment cone because there was room to make it.
We've cycled through, and this is our leaders right here. David Rudeman in the 00. And how about Montoya in that 42? He wants the lead.
And who's that pushing him?
That would be his teammate,
Jamie McMurray.
2 guys that hung out to the back. They went to the back before we completed 1 lap of this race.
Remember everybody said, oh, McMurray's got a problem. Don't have a problem anymore.
Montoya is record 29th different leader, and we still have 40 laps to go in Talladega.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is delivered by UPS. Log on to ups.com/racing to enter the UPS $100,000 Trackside Challenge.
If you like that scooter, you could win it and other cool prizes, including a VIP race weekend. ups.com/racing is where you enter for your chance to win. Kurt Busch served his penalty, as did the 38 for too fast exiting. That was a pass-through penalty. And keep an eye on that double yellow line, because that is out of bounds at Daytona and Talladega. You cannot put your wheels below that line to pass. And if you do, watch the bright orange #1, the Bass Pro car of Jamie Mack.
Huge run going down the inside here. Got to give that back. Can't do it or you get black flag.
And when Jamie pedals it, he loses not 1 but 6 positions. But if he doesn't back up into position, they will black flag him and penalize him, whether it's the first lap, the last lap, or in between.
Boy, I'm telling you right now.
I wish you'd look at this wad of cars going down his back straight away.
Junior just dropped out of line, went to the bottom, tried to pick up Greg Biffle here. Let's see if it works.
That's Rudeman in front with Ryan Newman. Haven't seen much of Newman today, but there he is in second place.
Well, he and his teammate and car owner Tony Stewart in the 14. That's 2 cars. It's kind of hung out the back. And now here with 34 laps to go coming this time, they're back up there at the front.
If I was up there with Ryan Newman, I'd be a little bit nervous because he doesn't have very good luck on these restrictor plate races. That's a backup car he's in.
But the car pushing Newman is Tony Stewart. They are teammates. They've hooked up in a very tight draft, trying to run down Rudeman with Dale Jr. and Greg Biffle on the outside.
And remember, Mike, those teammates can talk to each other. They can talk to each other on their radios and plan some strategy.
And I'm not sure that's what didn't happen to the 1 car of McMurray. When he fell back there, his teammate Montoya in the 42 found him, and they pushed him back up toward the front.
Well, that cat had to give those positions back. The 1 car, Jamie McMurray, look how quickly he caught back up to the lead here.
Remember,
that 1 car is fast.
The last 2 restrictor plate races have been won by Jamie McMurray.
Especially when that 42's back tucked up under him like that.
Montoya, right behind McMurray, has won the Indianapolis 500. He's won the Grand Prix of Monaco in Formula 1. He has not won an oval track race in NASCAR yet.
Junior keeps coming, he keeps dropping down.
Beautiful.
Out of line. Yep.
He's getting a little group assembled behind him now. In fact, all 3 of those lines are moving right now, but look at those 2 Earnhardt Ganassi teammates, the 1 of McMurray, the 42 of Montoya.
You just can't wobble around like that in the corners when somebody's pushing you. That causes a lot of problems.
Chip Ganassi, McMurray's car owner, he's won the Indy 500 and now the Daytona 500, joining Roger Penske as the only 2 owners in that category.
Well, I've said, Mike, when we come to Daytona and Talladega, we never mention Jamie McMurray. Hardly do we talk about him all day long. Here he sits, going for 3 in a row on restrictor plate tracks.
Driving for 2 different teams. Roush Fenway in the fall of last year here, Earnhardt Ganassi at Daytona.
The inside line with Elliott Sadler, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jr. Not quite quick enough at the moment to gain on the front runners.
Some of these guys, I got to say this, some of these guys drive like they got no sense, but some of them drive like they got a sixth sense. And Jamie McMurray must have that sixth sense.
Because the safest place you can be is exactly where he's at right now. It may not be the place to be on lap 187, but that's the safest place right now.
No, because what you can hear is trouble behind you.
Looking at Greg Biffle in that 16 car, boy, he wiggled right there. They were considering on an earlier pit stop changing the shop. Greg Irwin, the crew chief, said, "No, what? We're not going to give up that track position."
This time by 30 laps to go, and there are still 20 or more that can win it.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Chevy. Every model is backed by a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. By Old Spice Matterhorn, one of 4 fresh new scents from Old Spice. And by AT&T, rethink possible.
Don't forget to vote for the fastest pit crew. Text your pick to 2258, delivered by AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. In our last race, Dale Jr.'s 88 crew's total pit time for the entire race was the least of any team. Jeff Hammond's picks today, the pit crews of Kyle Busch, Jeff Burton, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. rank at the top. 26 laps to go. Folks, you are watching the most competitive race in the 60-plus year history of NASCAR. 29 different leaders, 86 different lead changes, and we're far from done.
And here's what I think it was going to shape up. That 2-car breakaway that we saw here last year, I think that caught everybody out. I think everybody was kind of still shaking their head saying, what is that all about? They are aware of it this year. And what's going to happen is we're going to have some cars try that, but there's going to be some blocking going on. And when the blocking starts, the wrecking starts.
When we come to the stripe this time, we'll have 25 laps to go. What I feel is of those 25 laps, 24 3/4 of them is going to be a moot point. I think it's going to come down to the last quarter of that last lap coming to the checkered flag.
Remember this number, 148. Not just at the start-finish line, but all the lead changes back and forth today. That's how many we've had so far.
And it's been such a clean race. But, man, just with restrictor plates, the way these cars are, you've got to get aggressive and start pushing people when you get down near the end here. You just can't help it. You're not going to be able. You're not going to sit there and run 10th, 15th.
Jeff Burton has had one of the best cars today. 49 races since his last victory in the series. He had a couple of coulda, woulda, shouldas this season already, though.
He did, and Mike, just thinking back to practice, I mean, that was the premier car in practice. He and David Ruderman were the 2 best cars, both practice sessions we had here.
Last time around, Jimmy Johnson dropped to the inside to try to move along with the 11 of Denny Hamlin. And might have got a little too much shove right there.
Well, again, what Denny Hamlin did to him, you'll see it here going off into the corner. He hits him right there. Whoa. That's just about the time the 48 car is making the turn.
That's just where we are, though, guys. Right now, we're getting aggressive. He says, "Okay, I'm sorry. I'll push you back to the lead." Will that make up for it?
We'll see.
Well, that's the only 2 cars on the bottom right now in our top 18, 19 cars.
I think you got to get those 2 cars on that high side to make that 2-car breakaway work.
When you're in 18th place with 24 laps to go, these become the desperate hours right here.
You become very frustrated because you know that time is slipping away, and you know you got to have some help to get up there. Things are starting to get tense.
But Darrell, what I was seeing right there with our pointers, those 2 cars staying just like that, ever so slowly. They are gaining on that leader, Jeff Burton, in the 31.
23 laps to go in the Aaron's 499 at Talladega. Jeff Burton out front.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by the new film Iron Man 2. Friday, May 7th, rated PG-13. By Subway Restaurants. Enjoy so many $5 footlong subs all day, every day. Only at Subway. And by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
For what may be the first time all day, we've taken a break under green and come back with the same top 10 the way they were running when we last spoke to you. Jeff Burton, Jamie McMurray, Montoya, Biffle, and Reagan, the front 5. Most everybody staying in line. And they just lapped Kasey Kahne. Remember the miscue entering pit road? That dearly cost Kasey. He lost his momentum, had to pit by himself, and couldn't catch back up with the draft. He's just gone a lap down.
We just quit playing offense, and now we're playing defense.
We're thinking the same thing. To me, this is like the 2-minute warning.
Yes, sir.
Of a very close football game. We're going to breathe for a second and regroup.
What are they thinking in the middle of that draft? How about Jeff Gordon in 11th place?
You know that 43, if we're nose to tail, I'm his best friend. Back that up to me, we will go up there. 10-4, that's fine.
Gordon's car has had a bit of trouble when its nose is in the wind. He's having a little trouble sucking up and staying with the car in front of him. Dick Berggren.
With Lance McGrew, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew chief, what's the winning strategy for you guys?
I tell you what, NASCAR car has been awesome all day long, and I think you just got to put yourself in the right position. You know, Dale is the best at that, so we're just going to have to see how it works. It's kind of hard to say. It's like it's been a revolving door in the front all day long, so you can't go too early, but you can't go too late. It's going to be tough.
Your driver's giving the Junior Nation a lot to cheer about today. We'll see how this thing ends, Mike.
Well, Junior is 6th. Look at the car in front of him, David Reagan. 6th is where Reagan was running with 1 lap to go when he scored his nationwide win here a year ago.
Remember what Junior said a little earlier about them tires? I don't need no stinking tires.
Tires don't mean nothing.
He don't need no stinking help either, because he's going to get up there.
All right, one more break, and then we'll take you to the checkered flag at Talladega. 18 laps to go. Jeff Burton still leads. Jeff Burton leads a 7-car breakaway with 14 laps to go. The reason this pack has fallen back was a battle between Kasey Kahne and Kurt Busch to be in the free pass position should a caution can't come out. There was contact between the two. There was a lot of shuffling. Busch is now at the back of that pack. Kahne is the first car 1 lap down, but it really split the field in 2. Now watch the 43 Allmendinger. He and Kasey Kahne are teammates. Allmendinger trying to help his teammate. See what happens here.
And remember what Jeff Gordon said. Tell the 43 I'll go with him, and he is right now giving him a good shove.
And that did not work to the advantage of Kurt Busch, nor to the rest of those lead lap cars who have kind of lost touch with the race leaders. But with 13 laps to go, can this all become one big pack again?
I think there's no question. All it's going to take.
Oh,
we got
Bobby
Labonte in the 71 car.
Caution.
There's the caution. Now it's going to get interesting.
Hang on.
Poor old Jeff Burton is saying, oh no. Why'd that have to happen?
Burton, McMurray, Montoya, Biffle, Reagan, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Brian Vickers, Jimmy Johnson, Allmendinger, and Denny Hamlin are the top 10. As the caution comes out, 5th one today with 12 laps to go. Bobby Labonte drafting along.
Looks like somebody may have gotten into him and turned him around. I think it may have been David Rudiman.
It is.
That's a roughing the passer penalty right there.
You just think about it, though. We talked about it at the top of the show. Our FedEx understanding the race. I know this is a little bit outside of 10 to go, but we always get that last caution, roughly 10 to go. And as I mentioned also, that's been the pattern of every race in 2010.
And that intramural battle that was going on to be the free pass car is resolved in favor of Kasey Kahne. He'll be back on the lead lap and get to pit with the lap down cars. Anybody who takes the wave around cannot pit. So a big advantage for Kahne, this caution flag.
And so Kahne was a potential loser, and now he's a potential winner.
Now we know everyone can make it on fuel. We knew that when they made that green flag pit stop. I think we'll see a mixed bag of strategy here, because this is not Texas, it's not Phoenix, it's not Martinsville, it's Talladega. You heard Dale Earnhardt Jr. say tires. I'm not worried about my tires, but I think you'll see a mixed bag here. One thing, dump as much fuel as you can into that car. It gets that rear spoiler out of the air, makes it go faster, but I think you need tires to go with that.
Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting to see what these guys decide to do.
McMurray staying out. Burton's coming in. Dick.
And Junior's coming in as well. He had only enough fuel for 1 green-white checker. Lance McGrew, his crew chief, thought there would be more. So they're pitting, and his teammates are pitting as well. Steve.
Jeff Burton pitted because he started to run hot. Water temperature 240 degrees. They're going to clean the grill and right sides only. Matt.
The 11 of Denny Hamlin is in. Just a splash of fuel for insurance in case we go into overtime with a green-white checker. The same for Mark Martin in the 5 and Tony Stewart in the 14.
The Ganassi cars stayed out at the front of the pack, McMurray and Montoya, and so did the Roush Fenway cars. And this is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it looks like right now our top 9 cars stayed out. As you mentioned, McMurray, Montoya, Biffle, Reagan, Allmendinger, Harvick. Here we are talking about Carl Edwards now, back in 7th position, David Rudiman, Mike Bliss.
We'll be back for the restart. There's 11 laps to go.
Jamie McMurray leads teammate Juan Pablo Montoya with 10 laps to go at Talladega, a record-setting race. More leaders, more lead changes than in any race in the history of NASCAR. And one of the guys who was a leader after he spun out here, Denny Hamlin, who came in as one of NASCAR's hottest drivers, bringing out a caution, did work his way back to the top of the pack. He's currently running in the top 10.
Kind of Regan Smith here, one engine problem today with the 78 car. He loses it in like 102.
One of the 87 different lead changes we saw as he fell out of the picture. And then the closest we've came, we haven't had the big one, Jeff Hammond, but we did have kind of a mediocre mess here with 8 cars.
Yeah, we had 8 cars involved here. You see the 36 car get turned by the 18.
And with 13 laps to go, the caution coming out, it's Labonte bringing that out with Burton leading McMurray and Montoya. And now that has reshuffled the deck here under caution as we're getting ready to go. Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. 10 laps to go, 9 when they get back to the green flag. I like a full tank and 4 tires because you just don't know how many of these green-white checker overdrive attempts we could have. We could have up to 3.
Well, I like the fuel because, as Larry pointed out, it gets the back of the car down a little bit, give you a little bit more speed. And I don't care where I am on this restart. I'd rather be coming up through the field, getting the big suck off the draft, than I had to be sitting up front, stalled out.
I'd say this is not our last restart either. I don't think that's a safe statement.
No, we were.
Ganassi teammates up front, McMurray, Montoya. Teammates Reagan and Biffle, row 2. Harvick and Allmendinger. Edwards and Rudiman. Bliss and Hamlin. Sadler and Vickers. Green flag with 9 to go.
And I want you to look at the front of the field. These are people that we have not really talked about very much all day long. Been laying back. Strategy might just pay off.
Now, what was interesting, McMurray in the 1 with Biffle in the 16 behind him, took it up high through 1 and 2, trying to get the momentum. Remember, with this carburetor restrictor plate, it takes about a lap to get that engine wound up.
McMurray might have been hoping to come up in front of his teammate Montoya because there are no teammates working together at the front of this pack right now. Plenty of time to sort that out, however.
Yeah, well, right now you're singing that song. I'm a-wishing and I'm a-hoping, and I'm a-planning and I'm a-praying.
That caution was a huge break for a lot of guys that had lost the draft.
Who brushed the wall there? Looked like Biffle might have brushed it a little bit. McMurray leads from Biffle, Montoya and Reagan. And Mr. Where did he come from in 5th place? Kevin Harvick. Don't count him out.
If you're in the front of this field, you want to stay just like this. If you're about 10th or 12th on back, you want to get down there and start digging up that inside with somebody.
And here they come. On the bottom. That's Stewart leading the inside row. Tony Stewart with Dale Jr. Familiar drafting partners from every time we go to Daytona. The 14 and the 88 just seem to find each other and hook up.
And what's interesting about that 88 car tucked up behind that 14, Dick Bergman was telling me under that caution, Dale Earnhardt Jr. asked his crew chief, Lance McGrew, how hot can I get this engine? How long can I stay tucked up behind the car?
I think the thing that you got to be able to do, though, is you got to be able to sit here and wait just a little bit longer if you're in that outside line. Whoa! Yeah. Biffle tried to force his way into the outside around the McMurray in the 1, but didn't quite make it.
But look at that. Dale Jr. in the 88 pushing Tony Stewart in the 14 to the lead. That outside line is going to prevail. I'm telling you, there's so many of them out there, and you're down on that bottom by yourself.
But can they run that tightly packed together for 6.5 more laps, or is something going to have to give?
Boy, Jeff Gordon in the 24 just got forced all the way down on the apron. He's going to
give
really
that 48 car right there. Just got knocked out of line, lost his momentum.
And it's Stewart and Jr. versus McMurray, Biffle, Montoya. Trouble down straightaway in the trioval. It's Jeff Burton. Jeff Gordon and Scott Speed.
Something was going on with that group back there. There was a couple of them falling backwards when they went through 3 and 4.
Caution's out with 6 laps to go. And there is perhaps the best car here coming into this race. Jeff Burton will not win. Mike, now, something happened with Jeff Gordon.
Let's watch out.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the left front. He's got a lot of damage. But let's take a look at, here we are going down the back. Here, right in here. Here's Jeff Burton going right there. He and Jeff Gordon. And you see Gordon gets down on the apron. Jimmy Johnson crowded 24 Jeff Gordon down on the apron. That backed everybody up.
And you see the 48 car really backing up.
Yeah, they both lost their momentum.
They just lost their momentum.
And then, look, Mike Bliss in the 09 car tried to make it 4 wide on the exit of turn 4 into the trioval, and there just was nowhere for these guys to go.
Once you lose your momentum, it just backs everything up until somebody runs over somebody.
And Bliss had to be afraid to lift because in this situation, lifters are losers. You want to try to maintain that momentum, but Burton just shut him off.
Yeah, he did.
Not
Burton,
intending to.
No, Burton kind of got shoved up there, if you will, and Mike Bliss in the 09 had nowhere to go.
And then the 24 car had nowhere to go as Jeff Burton in the 31 was coming across.
Good look. Here's a good shot of the whole thing.
Casey Kane, the 9 was involved. Scott Speed, the 82. Bam. Nowhere for Gordon to go.
Jeff Burton, Jeff Gordon, Scott Speed become the victims as this white knuckle restrictor plate racing claims 3 more cars. Looking back from Jimmy Johnson. Under the 5th caution. Jeff Gordon's crew chief, Steve Letarte.
Oh, that's such a killer.
What a season it's been. They could have, maybe should have been in victory lane 2 or 3 times this year.
At least 3 times.
Yep. Well, had the best car at Texas. Led 124 laps, late race crash.
Martinsville led the last restart.
Vegas, he just got passed by his teammate late.
Little damage on Jimmy's car to the left rear. And you see the lettering rubbed off that left rear tire.
Yeah, they're going to have to come to pit
I'm pretty
road.
sure they will, Larry,
Yeah.
because they learned from last week's minor contact on the left front fender, cut a tire down. I know we don't have many laps to go. That might be a factor.
But, Mike, you mentioned it. What a shame as we look at that 31 car of Jeff Burton. You know, we knew from Friday's practice he had one of the cars to beat.
Jeff Gordon, they were pointing at the ground, might have been a little fluid. Now see what's happening here because of the torrential rain yesterday. They're afraid to back that wrecker down into the grass because they fear it will get stuck. So they're going to roll out the nylon tape, that long sling to hook it to so the wrecker can stay on the pavement. We're 5 laps to go and we're almost certainly going to go into overdrive here unless they stop the cars, which with the green-white checker 3 times rule they would not have to do.
No, they don't have to do that. They're going to ratchet this car out of here, and we might get back to green flag racing with 3 to go.
Yeah, there's cable from the wrecker on back to that nylon tow strap and a little bit of a debris field down here. We're listening to Jeff Gordon and his team after the crash.
You still got steering?
Yeah, I got no front end, but I got steering.
All right, driving around too. So if you got steering, come on. If we stay in the lead lap, that'll be a big finish, much better. So you got brakes?
Killed the left front.
I see it. Drive it around. Drive it around.
You know, I don't hear any comment about what happened going into turn 3, though. Jeff's just more worried about the car at this time.
Right now he's in 29th. He is posted the last car on the lead lap. Now Kurt Busch will get the free pass, so he'll be back on the lead lap. We'll have at least 30 lead lap cars when we restart. Don't go away. 6 laps to the finish in Talladega.
Green, green, green. 31 car is fast, man.
But you're getting a shove inside lane, 3 wide.
And you're really doing a good job, man.
Inside, no help.
Oh, you got a lot of help.
100% my fault. I mean, I ran into the backup, but...
Thanks, Kyle. Jack Roush's had something. Try it.
4 laps to go in Talladega. We're under caution. Pit road is open, and so far, no takers. Jamie McMurray still has 312 miles to race when this one's over. He's driving for Dale Jr. in the nationwide race. Now a few takers toward the tail end of the line, including Jimmy Johnson, come to pit lane.
Yeah, he's
got Allmendinger.
He's got to fix that quarter panel. I think there's a more rub there than he wants to have to deal with.
Saw Casey Kane. He got some damage in that wreck as well in that 9 car.
Matt?
Mike, Jimmy was complaining about some smoke inside the cockpit because of the tire rub, so they're going to take that left rear off, pound out that quarter panel, try to repair the cosmetic damage as much as possible before we get ready. The right side looks good. That gives a thumb up to Chad Canals. A little more work, and 48 will be back out on the track. As far as the 1 car on fuel, they've got about 4 gallons is what they're saying to their driver.
Should be plenty. Casey Kane also stopped under this caution. Now 11 drivers are doing double duty, including McMurray. They'll run the second half of the doubleheader because of yesterday's rainout. And a very thoughtful story on a great website, NASCARinsiders.com, said don't forget, not just drivers, but a lot of these pit crews will pit both races, and quite a number of the spotters will also work the doubleheader today. So going to be a long day for a lot of them.
And think about the fans that got here early this morning. I mean, they're gonna be sitting in these seats all day long.
I don't think I've seen them sit down yet.
We're gonna be using these seats.
4 laps to go.
Yeah, this will be our first attempt at a green-white checkered because it's now sitting on 2 laps to go in the scheduled length, but we have not received the 1 to go. So this will be the first attempt.
Now it looks like McMurray is down on the apron there, Larry, just to be safe, because a lot of times when you're low on fuel, you come to take the green flag and you starve the engine a little bit while you're up on the banking. So he's just keeping the fuel supply to the engine nice and steady.
Yeah, because most of our guys up there like McMurray, Stewart, Biffle, Earnhardt, Montoya, Reagan, Harvick, Rudeman, those guys have not been to pit road since they made those green flag stops way back there.
Larry, why do crew chiefs never have any hair? I do not understand that.
It might have something to do with the drivers we work with.
Getting ready for overdrive and the first green-white checker here at Talladega. If you like Talladega, you'll love Richmond next Saturday night.
We are ready to rumble in Richmond.
In the nighttime, that's the right time. This is going to be fun.
That's what you call short track racing.
Under the lights Saturday night.
Oh, that's
short track style.
Richmond is probably, you know, to short track racing what Talladega is to super speedway racing. Yes. I mean, the action, running all over each other, it'll be wild.
And ding, 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 that will be round 3 of our DirecTV head-to-head competition on a short track.
My bracket is so busted. All right, who do you like? Now, a lot's going to depend on where McMurray lines up. It looks like he has taken the inside, and if he does, that puts Tony Stewart right in front of who?
Mike, I just think it's ironic that McMurray ends up at the front of the field in these restrictor plate races when it counts.
But you look at the lineup, if he'd taken the outside, he'd have Junior behind him. But by taking the inside, it leaves 2 of the sport's favorite drafting partners, Tony Stewart and Dale Jr., nose to tail.
It's a catch-22 here, Mike. You don't want to give up the bottom. You have to protect the bottom. That yellow line, Darrell told Brandon this before the ARCA race. That double yellow line is your best friend, but you'd love to be in the high side to get the thing wound up.
Yeah, for the momentum, but I think McMurray likes Biffle better than he would like to have Tony Stewart behind him because he knows Biffle will stay with him.
Now these guys, they need to get this race going. They've got enough fuel to get to the end, but under caution, you see them down on the flat. The fuel pickup is in the right rear corner, so at slow speed, the fuel runs away from the pickup. These guys need to get this thing going back again, green flag racing.
On the inside, McMurray, Biffle, Montoya, and Harvick. On the outside, Stewart, Junior, Reagan, Rudiman. Who's going to win it? Green-white checker. Here we go.
Green flag in the air. They get a little bit of an advantage. That inside does not much. You know, the other thing he may have considered, Larry, look who's the third car in line. His teammate.
And it is the inside line that goes.
And they just slid up in front of Tony Stewart in the 14 and Junior in the 88. That's what they needed to do. Protect the bottom and then slide up through 1 and 2.
I'm almost certain McMurray knew that Biffle would go wherever he went. He wasn't so sure about Junior or Tony Stewart.
Drag race. Down the back straightaway.
Now it's cat and mouse. Who's going to go? Who's going to go where?
If the leader takes the white flag under green, the next flag will end the race. Oh, around goes Newman. Newman up into Logano. 5 cars into the wall. 7. Caution.
Caution is out. The race is not complete. Not complete.
Had to get to the white flag to be complete.
What did we say 30 laps ago? You said, Darrell, not sure if you want to be around Ryan Newman. His luck here is not very good.
And no disrespect to him as a driver.
Not at all.
He is just snake bit on these restrictor plate tracks. That's his second car of the weekend.
Keselowski, last year's winner in the 12. Elliott Sadler in the 19, who's come across on his roof here a few times. Joey Logano, last year's Rookie of the Year. And here is Marcus Ambrose climbing out.
And look at Bobby Labonte's car.
That's a shame.
It's slayed.
See if we can figure out what started this. Labonte up high, 4 wide.
4 wide is usually not a very good thing.
The 20 car of Logano gets into the back of Ryan Newman, and the 39 started this whole mess.
I almost wonder if the 39 of Newman didn't say, uh-oh, we're 4 wide, and maybe even eased out the throttle a little bit.
Maybe this aerial view will show it, Darrell.
Let's see what we got here. We got a wad of cars going off in the corner. They're going to get 4 wide. You're going to see this, and here's the 39 right out here.
4 wide. You see there's plenty of room right there.
Plenty of room. I think that Logano just got in. I think Logano thought he could give him a push, clear that pack of cars, and go to the front. And he got him in the wrong place. We saw Carl Edwards do this to Greg Biffle here a couple of years ago.
See Vickers in the 83 involved, a car that led a bunch of laps, and Casey Kane in the 9 just had recovered from the repairs from the last wreck. Tell you what, that's a hard lick on some of those cars.
So many times, you know, we kind of slow things down so we can see what the fans at home and everybody can see what's going on. When it's real time, it's real violent.
Riding with Jimmy Johnson.
Front of you, spin in 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 front of you. Stay to the bottom, stay to the bottom.
That man was lucky.
Clear. All right, it's reported that all drivers are out of their cars and are okay. Let's get down to Greg Biffle's pit. Krista.
Little bit of panic down here in the 16. You see Greg Irwin up on the pit box shaking his head. That's because they are very close on fuel. If NASCAR chooses, while they clean up the debris, to run these laps under caution, Biffle could run out. They actually have the fuel cans ready in the 16 just in case they have to come in, which would be detrimental and devastating if they have to come in for fuel.
Okay, you know, I always say I can't live in the what if. I gotta deal with what I know, and the what if here would be, what if we have more than one green white checkered? That's what's happened to the 16 team.
So the second place car is low on fuel. What about the leader, Matt?
And catching up with Kevin Bonomania. Now the computer says you should be good, but going back over your numbers, are you still good?
Well, Gary Putnam does a great job with the pencil and paper, and Randall does a good job with the computer. So. We're going to be close, that's for sure. You know, it just depends on how long this caution lasts. Hopefully they red flag it. Jamie said there's several cars back there and a lot of debris. So, you know, this reminds me a lot like the fall Talladega race, and we had enough gas to make it there. And, you know, we got in a wreck on the last lap. So it's been a fairly eventful Talladega race. So, you know, we'll just wait and see what happens here. I'm just proud of the whole team. We've run up front and got our sponsor Johnny Morris here, and just hopefully it'll finish out the correct way.
Trying to make it back-to-back Talladega wins for Jamie McMurray and get this one car a Talladega win as well.
Thanks, Matt. Let's have another look, Darrell, and take a look at Ryan Newman and Joey Logano as we work through this here, the 39 and the 20.
Yeah, they come here. They come into the corner. You can see them up here high, and I guess that Logano in the 20, this orange car right here, I'm guessing he got into the back of the 39. But daggone if it didn't look like the 39 was kicking up a lot of dust and getting mighty loose before they made contact.
The back of his car definitely looked yawed out before they even turned into that corner.
So I'm not so sure. I wouldn't want to place any blame on Joey Logano in the 20 car right there until I saw that more and hear from the drivers.
But you know, Mike, just to follow up on talking to Kevin Mannion, right now, as we are still under caution, it doesn't look like we're going to get the one to go. We've actually got 4 cars that should be very close on fuel. 4 of our top 5, which would include McMurray in the 1, Biffle in the 16, Montoya in the 42, and Kevin Harvick in the 29. But Krista, what is Brian Patty saying about that 42 car?
Yeah, we're in the 42 pit with crew chief Brian Patty. Okay, we know that Biffle is close. Your teammate McMurray, they think they're okay. But the question is, what about you?
I would say if our teammates said they think they're okay, then I'll say I'll think we're okay. Same motors, same cars, same setups. It's going to be interesting. It's crazy that it's come down to this, but you know, that's what the fans wanted.
How close are you on fuel?
I'm not going to disclose that information.
That's what I thought. Thanks, Brian.
You know why? He has no idea.
That's right. I would like to tell you, but I don't know.
You know, when you get stopped for speeding and the cop says, how fast were you going? Gosh, I'm just not sure.
Well, here's one reason it's so hard to figure fuel mileage, Mike. You have all these programs to figure it. All these guys were on pit road about 146 to lap 147. When you're in the draft, you're getting better fuel mileage. These cautions, it's kind of a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 caution laps to 1 green flag ratio. You don't know how much fuel you were using when your car was in the draft.
Probably the biggest problem, Larry, is the element of surprise here. I don't think anybody expected to go 2 green-white checkers, so you didn't tell your driver to save fuel. You probably told him, get on up there and get the job done.
They didn't watch my opening earlier in the day when I said I had thought we had a chance of going 3 green-white checkers.
Robbie Gordon gets the free pass. And we'll be back on the lead lap. And we saw Logano's car being pushed to the garage and Jeff Burton's car under repair. He may get back into the race. We're not done yet, folks. Stay with us. We are past the 188 lap scheduled distance at Talladega. We're going into our second gear of overdrive here. And Dick Berggren is with Ryan Newman.
3 big crashes in 3 consecutive Talladega races. What happened? We're going to show you the video.
I know, I just got hit from behind. I think the 20 hit me. I had to run on the outside. We were 4 wide, and it just kept hitting me, and just turned me around. I mean, it's just the way it works. I mean, I would have done the same thing to him. We all never lifted coming up to turn 3. So, I mean, it was going to happen. It's just a matter of who it was and where it happened. So, got to thank Office Depot for jumping on and sponsoring us for this race, and Haas Automation, but it's Talladega Racing. What do you say? Or Talladega. You can't even say Talladega Racing.
One day your luck will change.
We can only hope. Now there's Logano's car under repair, but there are 7 cars in the lead pack that have not been to the pits for 46 laps or more. Biffle and McMurray, the 2 leaders, Montoya, Harvick, Carl Edwards, David Reagan, and David Rudiman. These are the drivers. Here is the lead as they go, and you can see that Tony Stewart's okay. Dale Jr., Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, and Kyle Busch should have enough fuel.
And what you've got to watch here on this restart, I talked about the fuel pickup being in the right rear of the fuel cell, that the fuel has not run away, and these things hesitate when they go to get up to speed.
Yeah, because the guy behind you, he's not going to hesitate.
No, sir. It'll be wide open.
So this is sort of like that nightmare that these crew chiefs have to live every week now with the 3 attempts at a green-white checker. Do I have enough for 3 of those?
I like the strategy as I heard it discussed this week. The crew chief has to plan for 3 restarts. The driver has to plan like the next one is the only one.
Let's make sure we explain the green-white checkered procedure. Once the leader takes the white flag, no matter what, we then have a race. We have a race in the books.
Right. As long as the leader takes the white flag under the green flag, the next flag, checkers or wreckers, ends the race. And the field would be frozen at that point, and video used to determine the order to finish if they don't make it around to the checkered flag before the caution waves.
And the record book will show that you ran out of fuel. It won't show. It won't necessarily show why.
Pace car is in. Jamie Mack with his teammate Montoya right behind him, and then Harvick and Hamlin, and on the outside Biffle, Stewart, Dale Jr. and Truex.
It's a strong outside line there, or inside line if they got enough fuel.
Green flag.
Short shift it, man. Get it into high gear as soon as you can. That'll save a little bit.
Greg Biffle in the 16 looked like he wanted to tuck in front.
Wow.
Kevin Harvick in the 29. He couldn't get down there.
No. Made an evasive move to the outside. That
Junior
backed everybody up.
Biffle's in trouble. I think Biffle is out of gas in the 16 car.
Yeah, he's one of those cars there that could not get up to speed. Looks like he's
Here comes Junior to the outside. Everybody else to the inside, and around goes Jimmy.
48. And Biffle, yellow flag is out. We still don't have a race, boys. That is not what those guys at the front wanted to see, though. This is really going to make it tough on them.
Larry, they just about got to come to pit road now. I just don't see how you can stay out there and run a couple more caution laps and have enough to finish the race.
So here comes Jamie McMurray around to what would have been the white flag, but since it is yellow, we will have one more attempt to finish this race under green.
And you know why they'll come to pit road? Because everybody's got to come to pit road.
No, those guys like Tony Stewart and that group, Denny Hamlin, will not have to, Darrell.
Enough guys that got to come to pit road that it might be all right.
There they are right there. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 on the inside, Biffle in the 16. It looked like he just could not get going. And then Jimmy Johnson tries to jump up in front of him, but did not have him clear,
He just wasn't clear. That's it. Pretty hard contact to that inside wall. Yeah, Biffle was in trouble from the get-go. He just couldn't get up to speed.
All right, the free pass will be Jeff Gordon. There's a free pass car on every caution flag all the way to the finish. Here's another look.
Yeah, I mean, Biffle really and truly never moved there. If anything, Biffle may have moved up a little bit.
Boy, hats off to our NASCAR on Fox camera crew, because the pictures and these replays they've given you today have just been outstanding.
I think Johnson thought he was so much faster than Biffle right here. He needed to get out of that box and couldn't do it.
Just made his move a little too soon.
All right, in Jimmy Johnson's defense, I'm pretty sure, maybe we can even play it again, heard Earl Barb and his spotters say, outside only.
Kurt Busch just missed it. Wow. And Jimmy Johnson, who came in here as the point leader, will go off on the hook. And according to the positions of the moment, he would retain the point lead by 64 over Kevin Harvick. Greg Biffle might slip to third depending on how many positions he can regain when we restart.
Well, our little group at the front, they look like they're going to wait it out.
I think I'd have had to come. If I had any doubt, the way things are going, not so sure I wouldn't have come.
Still 24. It'll be 25 lead lap cars with Jeff Gordon added. He is the free pass car. And now 6 with Biffle pitting. There are 6 drivers at risk of running out of fuel. McMurray, Montoya, and Harvick, the 3 leaders, plus Carl Edwards, David Rudiman, and David Reagan.
I think we'll see Kevin Harvick come to pit road because we're getting a report he thinks he has a left front flat. I think we've got that audio that we just heard on the 48 car spotter.
I got a whim, maybe running out of gas in the middle of 16's coming back your way, so 14 inside is clear, 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 clear. Outside only, outside only.
Darrell, my lingo, outside only means the outside is the only line that's clear.
Yeah, well, I heard him say inside. You know, he's inside clear. I'm not sure about that outside only comment. I'm not sure where that came from.
Here's a look from overhead, and clear. You know, the outside was not quite clear. Jimmy was trying to move to the outside to clear the car directly in front of him, and Greg Biffle was there.
Now, Larry, we know the spotters are over here on top of the grandstand. There are also spotters on the back straightaway.
A lot of teams elect not to use that spotter because they're scared they'll talk across each other. That was Earl Barbin, who's the primary spotter that's on top of the main grandstands talking to the 48 car.
On the back straightaway, you can see the black marks.
That's where it happened, midway down the backstretch. Now, so far, we have had 4 green-white checkers in 2010. 2 attempts at Daytona and Atlanta, 1 attempt each at Martinsville and Phoenix. This will be the first time since the new rule was instituted that we will have 3 tries at green-white checker. What many people were talking about coming into Talladega, they thought might happen, has come to pass.
That man leading the race at Daytona never led a lap in the 500-mile segment of the race. He led in the overtime segment of the race. Here he is again today, hoping he's got enough fuel.
Kevin Harvick, the 29 car, he's going to ride this thing out. He elected not to come to pit road, thinking maybe he's got a left front tire in trouble.
They're thinking maybe if we could just make 1 lap.
2.66 miles.
We could just go around here 1 time.
The first 3 cars, McMurray, Montoya, and Harvick, by now, Larry, have got to be on fumes.
Oh, they've got to be. You know, the only question would be how much fuel they've been conserving under caution.
Here's some audio from Montoya's team.
We're not pitting. I'll run the son of a gun out of gas.
I'm with you. Don't worry about that.
Just keep doing the on-offs, okay? Best you can. This will be quicker.
Juan Montoya has won on the road course in NASCAR.
Brian Patty is crew chief. I like the way he is a gambler. He will go for it.
Montoya has not won on an oval track in NASCAR. This would be a huge victory for the Colombian. He's won the Indy 500. He's won the Grand Prix of Monaco. This would rank right up there.
If I remember correctly, it was fuel mileage that won him that race at Sonoma.
And you know, guys in the top 5 that we think are in good shape, we talked about him a lot, is Denny Hamlin, that 11 car, but another car stayed at the back of the pack, out of trouble. Martin Truex Jr. in that 56 Napa car. We're riding with him right here, sitting in 5th. We know he's in good shape as far as fuel.
Had a good top, 6? I think he finished at Daytona in the Daytona 500, and here he is.
So here's the situation. The green flag will restart the race. The next flag ends it. This is the 3rd and final attempt at a green-white checker. This time, Montoya has Harvick, one of the best closers in the business on a superspeedway, on his back bumper. Montoya has Hamlin pushing. Here we go for the final time.
Looks like you're going to have teammates side by side going through turn 1 and 2. Harvick in the 29 pushing McMurray. 42 getting a push by Denny Hamlin in the outside, side by side.
It's whichever line back here where you see the 56 coming. If he goes with the 29, that will push them ahead of the 42 Montoya and the 11, but he's got to get there, and he's not getting there.
And Dale Jr. did not keep pace with Martin Truex. He's fallen back a bit. He will not be among those who will settle this for the win.
Boy, this is a roadblock now, even when you get there. Where are you going to go?
Look at the run. Truex is getting in the 56 with the push from Kyle Busch in the 18. White flag this time.
Can Montoya and Hamlin do the 2x2 tango, or will Harvick shove McMurray to victory lane? White flag in the wind. 1 lap to go.
ECR engines at the front of the field working together and looking good.
The big question, both those guys, they have to be on fumes as far as fuel, the 1 and the 29.
I don't like that. There's a little bit nervous getting a big lead out here. You got to be careful, but with these guys 2 by 2 behind them, it might work.
Staying to the inside, the 2 leaders have no drafting help, but they are scooting away from the pack. 3 corners to go.
Now Harvick, he'll keep pushing him, and he'll get over here to the tri-oval, try to make the slingshot on him.
As soon as he knows that he doesn't have to worry about that 3rd place car of Montoya, he probably will try to make a move, although I don't know if it'll do him any good or not.
Last chance through the tri-oval.
Here he comes.
Here they come.
Harvick! It's Harvick!
He got him!
He timed it perfect!
He got him!
Mister, where did he come from? Wins Talladega.
He got him!
He timed it picture perfect.
Oh, boy.
And McMurray opened that bottom just enough.
I think McMurray thought, I've got it made because Harvick's not going to do anything. He can't afford to. Holy cow, look at Delana. She can't believe it.
Awesome job, guys. Awesome job. I mean, that played out to the T. To the pass on the last lap.
Yeah, baby.
You said you wanted to be.
You see what happened? He got him wiggling a little bit, Larry.
Through the trial.
Got him a little bit loose, and that's what won the race for him. When he went across the back of his bumper, got him a little loose, opened the door.
I don't know who it was, Darrell, but on Friday I saw him do that to someone in practice, wiggle him up a little, move underneath, and make the pass. Harvick on Friday was practicing his race-winning move.
You see right
and
there.
It pays off right here.
Yeah, you see right there, Mike, he had the one car McMurray sideways.
And how fitting, Shell Pennzoil was on that car when he won the Daytona 500 a little over 3 years ago. The announcement made this week that they will be leaving that team at the end of 2010.
Kevin Harvick, his wife Delana, in disbelief as Harvick snaps a 115 race winless streak that goes back to that Daytona 500 win in 2007.
And guess where he starts in just a little while in the next event?
On the pole. The man's in the top 5 in all top 3 series in points.
We'll be back to Talladega. Can you believe it?
No, I
Promotional considerations provided by
Kevin Harvick from behind Jamie McMurray going into the tri-oval, loosens McMurray up, storms to the inside, maintains his momentum. How close was it? Let's have a look.
$12/1000ths of a second.
I believe I had to whack him one time, see if I could slow him down coming to the line.
Chris Devota's in victory lane with Kevin Harvick.
And as you can see and hear, the celebration is a big one. It's been over 3 years since a points win. It was on a plate track. Choices and chances. That's what this race is all about. You made the choice to take a chance. Walk us through that last move.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, everything just really played out perfect for us today. We had a plan to ride in the back, wait till 50 laps to go, and then really push forward after that. So just this Impala was great. I got to thank Jimmy John's, Reese's, SKF, Coca-Cola, Champion, Sherwin-Williams, Shell, Pennzoil, choked on my Coke there, Team Realtree, everybody who helps us on this car. And the fans, they come out to support us every week and get to see finishes like that. So Sprint for everything they do for this series, and we broke that drought.
I was going to say, all the wins are special. They all mean a lot. But when you have the controversy or just the struggles that you guys have been through to get back here to victory lane, how special is this?
Well, I think the best part about it is our sponsors leaving, and you know, the best part about it is they can leave while we're winning. So that's the best part of the whole thing.
Kevin couldn't wait for the celebration to begin. In fact, I think they had to cut your window net to get you out of there.
Yeah, the latch froze up on the window net, so they had to cut the window net off with a knife. So that was a first, but winning here at Talladega is a first too.
Congratulations, Kevin Harvick.
We saw the most competitive, the most lead changes, the most number of leaders, another surprise winner right at the end. Was this the best Talladega race ever?
It was in my mind. I've been here a long time, and it was as good as it gets.
And, you know, I'm happy for Richard Childress Racing. You know, we talked about them really being down this point last year. That's the first win for that organization since the fall of 2008 with Jeff Burton.
Wonder where Harvick's thinking about staying now.
Well, we'll see. Well, a number of folks have reason to celebrate. Kurt Busch got a top 10 out of this. So did Mike Bliss at the checkered flag. But not everybody will leave Talladega happy.
Well, Jeff Gordon has just climbed out of a car so wrecked you'd wonder how it could have run at all. Who is at fault for the accident out there, Jeff?
Which one?
The big one that you were in.
Well, I mean, I got collected. I don't know what happened. You know, I'm just excited we finished on the lead lap, to be honest with you. I think it's been a while since we've finished on the lead lap. We got a huge push down the back straightaway. I don't know who it was, 39 maybe, or somebody gave me a big shove. And I was coming 10 miles an hour faster than anybody. And the 48 is testing my patience, I can tell you that. It takes a lot to make me mad, and I'm pissed right now. I mean, you know, when a car's going that much faster, I don't know what is with me and him right now, but, you know, whatever. But the guys did a great job fixing it, you know, after they got wrecked. I don't know what happened in the wreck. I just know the 31 came across after getting turned and came down in front of me, and we got collected. So we just did everything we could to finish at that point and finish on the lead lap.
All right, thank you. See you at Richmond. Better luck there.
I will say this. I thought it was a heck of a race. I mean, I thought all day the racing was amazing. Yeah, there was times it got a little wild. We all knew it was going to get wild at the end. But I don't think you could have asked for a better race. So I applaud that rear spoiler.
Thank you.
And we applaud Jeff Gordon for his candid comments. The 48 is trying my patience. Jeff Hamlin, Chris Myers, and wow, we said it at the time. Jeff Gordon said on the pre-race show, there's going to be more of that, us going at each other because he wants to win, teammate or not. Obviously, let's take a look, and you tell me why Jeff Gordon was so upset at Jimmy Johnson.
Because, again, he said he had a good head of steam. You see the 48 come all the way from the middle lane right in front of the 31 and pushes the 24. I mean, he had to go below the line to keep running into him. What does it do? It puts Jeff out of position. He's trying to get back up in line, and everybody behind him, I mean, just kind of like it triggered the whole mess. I mean, the 48 created this.
Yeah, that happened with 7 laps to go. But let's get back to Kevin Harvick and a historic day in NASCAR, not just for Talladega. And the future may be up in the air for Kevin Harvick, but certainly Richard Childress Racing, where he hopes to say, Richard Childress, last win for him at Talladega was 2000, Dale Earnhardt, the late great, his last win.
I know. The thing is right now, the word amazing keeps coming back here because of the fact that, you know, this is what Kevin Harvick and Richard Childress needed to have to help maybe keep these two guys together and show a new sponsor we can win. We gave a good run here today, an excellent opportunity for anybody to kind of like get hooked up with RCR, so a great day for them.
8th closest finish in the history of NASCAR since electronic scoring. It was 12/100ths of a second. Harvick edging out Jamie McMurray, and Jamie is with Matt Yoakum.
And a wild finish at Talladega. First, walk us through that final half lap and your move and his move.
Well, you really only get one direction to go. And I thought that I was low enough that he couldn't get underneath me, so I was more guarding the outside. And when he, you know, swerved his car to the left, it pulled my car around. And as soon as I realized he got underneath me, I was more concerned with just side drafting him to the start-finish line. But I wish they could have crashed on the last lap when I got the white flag this time. I was thinking, you know, surely they'll do it again. But it's a good day for our Bass Pro Shops Chevy. I got Johnny Morris here from Bass Pro Shops and his son, and they're taking me turkey hunting in Missouri tomorrow. So this will be a great race to talk about all day tomorrow.
Now, what was Felix all cranked up about?
Well, I think he thinks the 29 went below the line, and I don't really have a comment because I didn't see anything. You know, I was more concerned with side drift in the 29 than where we were on the racetrack. So, you know, you live for those moments. I'll tell you, you know, coming off of Turn 4 at Daytona, trying to get to the start-finish line, and then same thing here. I mean, that's what every kid dreams of getting to do.
All right, congratulations on a great day.
Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Jeff. Let's take a look as we just watched. What about the Felix Sabates accusation about the yellow line?
No, I don't think it's going to, you know, hold water this time. I really don't. I think, you know, Kevin got position on him, excuse me, and as he was moving up, I mean, he got pushed down just a little bit.
You're not allowed to go.
But he's already ahead of the leader. He can go where he needs to go, and if he come to the start-finish line, he's not below the yellow line. He's on top of it, but clearly it was his choice. He had already advanced his position. He was leader of the race at that time, so I don't think NASCAR is going to have a problem with this.
And totally different than Reagan Smith 2 years ago with Tony Stewart, when Tony was awarded the victory, had the yellow line incident. So Dale Earnhardt, the late great, remains the only driver 20 years ago to win 3 straight restrictor plate races. That's what Jamie McMurray was trying to do. Let's check in now with Dick Berggren. Dick?
Well, Dale Jr. has just climbed out of his car. You had quite a day out there.
Yeah, it was the National Guard MP Energy Chevrolet. Ran pretty good, but when it counted at the end, we just kind of didn't make the right moves. That bottom line didn't go very good, and on that last restart cost us a few more spots, but I'm pretty happy to come out of here in one piece. All them green, white checkers, there's a lot of cars getting tore up, and it was a pretty fun day. And I'm happy with the car and how well we ran. The pit stops were great. I got one really good pit entrance that was a lot of fun under green, and gained a lot of spots there. But otherwise, you know, we're just trying to hope to get some luck, get in the right lane, get in the lane that's going to go at the end, and we just didn't. And I take full responsibility for that, but cars in one piece, we can take it home and get it ready for the next one.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. gave his fans plenty to cheer about today. Well done.
And he is currently 8th in points. So Jimmy Johnson, who wrecked, did not finish. He had the biggest points lead of the year coming in. Look what that win did for Kevin Harvick, springing him up to 2nd as Kenseth and Biffle slide back.
Yeah, he really closed the gap right there. Bad day for Jimmy Johnson. Turned out to be a great day for Kevin Harvick. Got him closed back up here, as well as, you know, you see guys like Greg Biffle. They were able to move up a little bit.
Carl Edwards, Tony Stewart, and Juan Pablo Montoya trying to gain, and he does gain some, trying to get closer to get inside that 12 spot in the chase.
And that's the thing is right now they've got to keep gaining as we get closer and closer to basically the halfway point of the year as far as July 4th is concerned. Big effort for this team needs to be made.
Coming up on Fox tonight, The Simpsons, followed by the Cleveland show Family Guy and American Dad. You'll laugh out loud, a little animation domination, and a doubleheader next Saturday. We hope you tune in on Fox. Major League Baseball in the afternoon and under the lights in Richmond. Remember the Joe Gibbs Racing team sweeping the Cup Series last year, so we'll look for Kyle Busch and Logano. Denny Hamlin, who also hung in there today with a fourth-place finish, coming off a big win coming in to this race. And fans, if you want more post-race coverage, our entire Fox team will continue our post-race show next on Speed. We thank you for watching NASCAR on Fox. This was a record-setting day, and glad you were a part of it. First ever triple overtime, 3 green-white checkers before Kevin Harvick edges out Jamie McMurray by 12/100ths of a second. And for, yes, happy Harvick, his first win since the 2007 Daytona 500, his first win in 116 races. We had a record for not just Talladega, for all of racing. 29 leaders, 88 lead changes, and drama at every turn. Not necessarily the big one when it came to a wreck, but the big finish and a historic day. We thank you for watching and congratulate all the drivers, including Kevin Harvick. I'm Chris Myers for our entire gang. Thanks for watching NASCAR on Fox. A special hello to everyone watching Speed, and welcome to NASCAR on Fox, continuing post-race coverage from a record-setting Talladega as Kevin Harvick only led 2 laps and in triple overtime, the third attempt at a green-white checker, edging Jamie McMurray for the win.
Yeah, coming right down. He's right on top of that yellow line, but he gets to the start-finish line ahead of the one car. Got him a little loose right there coming into that travel area. He knew the 11 and the 42 were coming fast, but he made a timing move, and he made it perfect.
And his first win since Daytona 2007. Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, entire Fox gang, glad to be with you on Speed, recapping, spending some extra time in what was a very special day. The most leaders we've ever seen in any race, the most lead changes, and Kevin Harvick proving that anybody, his strategy was to lay back and make his move. It seemed like Jamie McMurray had 1 chance, 2 chances trying to fight people off, couldn't do it the third time.
I mean, he was really, he did everything he could. He did everything right to that last basically 1,000 foot of this race. And then, like I say, Kevin Harvick had been working and thinking about what move he needed to make, and he made the right one. He got him just a little bit loose coming into that last part of the race, and was able to get position under him. Then it was a drag race, and both of these cars are running ECR engines. It was pretty fitting that they settled it amongst themselves.
And each restart, you said, well, who's going to run out of gas? Who's going to get in front of whom? And Juan Pablo Montoya had his chance, third-place finisher. Let's check in with him.
Well, Juan, you and Jamie, your teammate, conservative at the beginning, but tell us about the end of this race. It was a spectacular one to watch.
Yeah, it was really close. You know, this Tom's car was amazing today. You know, and his car was really good as well. We ran really smart at the beginning. Then we started coming to the front, and when we restarted first and third, not the last restart, the one before, I thought we got them, because I was pushing him and we were good. And then, I don't know, it's one of those deals. We try, you know, we finished second and third. Can't complain, to be honest.
All right, thanks you.
Okay.
One of the best cars all weekend, and proved to be one of the best cars all day during the race, was the 11 of Denny Hamlin. At the end, you were even talking to your teammate Kyle Busch, coming up with some different game plans. What didn't work for you that you were trying to pull off?
I got detached from the 42 one time during that last green-white checker, and that was when the 29 put the gap on us, and it took too long once we got back together to catch them. So we needed about half a more track, but you know, we already went longer than what the distance of this race is anyway. But it was an exciting race. There's really not one car that I felt like was just a dominant car. It was just back and forth. You could not hold your track position up front, and you know, overall, it was a great day for our FedEx Camry.
Denny Hamlin adds another top 5 finish to his racing resume here at Talladega.
He's just about had enough of the 48, and with 7 laps to go, you see Jimmy Johnson blocking teammate Jeff Gordon. They were running 10th and 11th going into that lap, creating a wreck, certainly costing both of the drivers in this race.
Yeah, when they came down through there, the 39 was pushing to 24, and all of a sudden you see Jimmy come all the way from the middle lane, pulls down, and triggers this wreck that eventually catches up to 24.
And Jeff Gordon afterwards, speaking about the incident with teammate Jimmy Johnson, this is what Gordon had to say.
The 48 is testing my patience, I can tell you that. It takes a lot to make me mad, and I'm pissed right now. I mean, you know, when a car's going that much faster, I don't know what is with me and him right now, but, you know, whatever. But the guys did a great job fixing it, you know, after they got wrecked. I don't know what happened in the wreck. I just know the 31 came across after getting turned and came down in front of me, and we got collected. So we just did everything we could to finish at that point and finish on the lead lap.
All right,
well, you don't hear Jeff Gordon talking like that. Last week at Texas, he was ready to take on Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy didn't like it. We thought there wouldn't be any carryover. This isn't fading.
This is not fading. These two guys are going at it. I mean, they're hammer and tong basically right now. And so far, you know, Jeff Gordon's dander is really up. And I don't think it's going to end. We're going to go to Richmond next week, and we might see these two guys have to knock each other around some more.
All right, well, that incident took Jeff Gordon out. Later, Jimmy Johnson would wreck, and the points leader with the biggest points lead of any point during the season getting knocked out of the race on this incident.
And you see him get into the 16 car, Greg Biffle, who had problems on that restart. But when you go back and you listen to the in-car, it makes you wonder if Jimmy thought he was clear to the outside and he tried to make that move over in front of Greg. There wasn't room. He got clipped. And the other problem is it took him out of the race and relegated him all the way back to where was he wind up?
Well, he didn't finish the race. He did go to the care center. He ended up being okay. And when Jimmy Johnson, still the points leader, came out, our Dick Berggren caught up with him.
Jimmy, when your spotter said outside only, what did that mean to you?
Well, there was 3 cars off the pace for some reason, and I knew I was going to be in a tight squeeze trying to shoot through the center, and I thought with how slow the 16 was going, I was going to be able to just kind of at least drive straight through there. And fortunately, we touched a little bit, and then I got into a tank slapper, and it was over from there. So unfortunate for sure.
Even the best drivers are crashing today at Talladega.
The story to be continued between Jeff and Jimmy. Meanwhile, 31st and you saw for Jimmy Johnson. But great drama with Delana Harvick watching as Kevin Harvick, who looked like he was going to push McMurray across the finish line, but then he made that move to finish with the 8th closest finish in NASCAR history, 12/100ths of a second, as Harvick pulled out the victory. And Krista caught up with Kevin Harvick's wife, Delana.
Well, Kevin Harvick mentioned it's been a long drought. Nobody knows that more than his wife, Delana. What does this mean to be back in victory lane?
This means everything, not only to Kevin, but for this 29 team. And I'm just so happy for him because they worked so hard. And I don't even know what to say. I bawled like a baby. So that's how much it means.
Talk about what goes through your mind on that last lap. You knew he was pushing the one. Did you know when he was going to make his move?
I think so. I think I've seen him do that before, but you never know until it's over. And I'm just happy it worked out this way.
Thank you, Delana.
Thank you.
All right, first win for Kevin Harvick in 116 races for Jeff Hamlin.
Amazing.
I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching our NASCAR post-race update from Talladega, Alabama. Here on Speed, be sure to tune into Sunoco Victory Lane tonight at 8 Eastern for a total recap of the race. Right now, we return you to AMA Supercross Light. Thanks for watching NASCAR.